I'm muted. Yay! Take a drink, everyone. Hello, everybody. I just spoke to myself just then. Welcome to another show. 232 shows down, 5th year, 2024. Hope everyone had a great New Year's. I certainly did. And I hope you guys, if you don't celebrate New Year's because you're in a different country and all that sort of stuff, well, I hope you had a good weekend. I don't know what to say, really. I guess you guys have New Year's at different parts of the year. Chinese New Year's is January, February, and I think the Jewish New Year is in September or something like that. So, you guys have New Year's. So celebrate, like, proxy celebration with us. How's that sound? Anyway, great show coming up. We have got lots to go through. We've got a spare spot if anyone wants in vMix. This is not on StreamYard. We've already got someone in StreamYard. Or has he disappeared? Brooksy's jumped in. Hang on, just let me sort out StreamYard. Brooksy's jumped in. Brooksy, if you want, mate, you can go on the old vMix.
Do you want me to jump in StreamYard?
Into vMix, yeah.
All right, I'll go and dig that out now. Yeah,
because Steve's going to jump into StreamYard. All right, so Brooksy's coming in. Okay. Anyway, we'll sort that out in a sec. What was I going to say? Great show today. We've got a lot happening in the show, and I hope you guys can stick around for the whole show. It's quite, my show's quite long, so I do understand if you guys have got busy things. If you're mowing your lawn on a Saturday, park the lawnmower just off to the side. Don't run your feet over, and go grab yourself a nice ice cold drink and sit down and enjoy. Sorry, StreamYard's busy. Let me just set StreamYard up. I think that was Steve. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, Steve's back in. There we go. Sorted him out. Right. Okay, so what's in store? We have all the regular segments, including Name That Synth. So do stick around for that, because I know a lot of you people do like that segment, and it only ever happens if one of you guys send the video in, and that's exactly what's happened during the week. So I'm excited to show you. Anyway, there's that. There's also going to be a live jam. So yes, I will make your ears bleed.
Oh, heck.
So we'll have some fun with that. I hope there's some interest in it anyway, because I'm going to do a couple of little sort of weird, funky things in it, and we'll talk about it as well. And believe it or not, there's a fair bit of news happening. Still products popping out, even over New Year's. It's incredible. So we'll talk about that as well. There's some really interesting products in Price Watch. When I say products, I don't mean like new products. I mean just things that I've stumbled across that I think you guys would be interested in. No scammy ones this week, unless Andy's found some. But yeah, anyway, we'll sort that out later. A couple of funny memes to show you guys. Well, now don't forget, if you do want to join us on the video side, we do have StreamYard. The link is pinned in the chat. You can just click on that. And if you don't have access to the chat, you can just type that in bit.ly/Ranzee StreamYard. It's pretty easy to remember. So whack that into your browser. So don't forget to do that. Now, a couple of things too, sort of housekeeping things that we'll do at the start of the show. Don't forget, if you're new, please do jump into the chat room. I'm actually going to go across there in a minute, and we're going to say hello to all the chatties in the chat room. If you're new, just jump in and say hi and say where you're from. It's a great community here, so be a little bit more bold and introduce yourself. And if you are also new and you've never been on this show before, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, chuck us a like, those sort of things. It's always nice to get those things. So don't forget to do those things. I mean, they're free for you to do. And if you really, really do like this channel and you do want to support us more, you can think about becoming a channel member. You can support us that way, or you can chuck in a super chat if you like what we're doing at the moment. So all of those things are very, very, very much appreciated, and I do always say thank you from the bottom of my heart from anyone who is doing that regularly. So let's get stuck in. We're going to introduce you to the video guests that are slowly popping in from all over the place. We'll start with, before I show everyone, why don't I start with Darren, because Darren's been here the longest. Hey Darren, how are you, mate?
Hey, Rand.
How's your week been?
Am I? Well, I think I'm coming down with something. Maybe the dreaded COVID, I don't know, or something like that. Not saying it is, because the tests don't work now.
They've
expired. Getting a bit of a tight chest. Yeah, getting a bit of a tight chest, and with having asthma, it's a bit of a pain.
Oh, that's good, mate. I hope you get better.
Well, like I say, I'm not ill yet. It just seems to be. It just feels as though it's getting tighter, which is unusual. So we'll just see. Other than that, what have I been doing? I've been working on Live Rig 2 over Christmas and New Year, which has been a nightmare because what I've built is not working how I want it to work, and it's not reliable. So I'm having to do. I'm just redesigning it because it's not working. The little bits that extras and stuff that I had planned, so I'm going to have to find a different way around it. Because it sort of works, but then sometimes it doesn't work, and it's just I want it so it works every time. I know nothing ever does, but I want it to be at least 90% working, which is not part of the music actually, which is not working. It's some other bits. Writing for live set 2, which was originally supposed to stop at 40 minutes, but I just get carried away, and now I think I'm up to about an hour and 20 minutes. So, and I keep telling myself I've got to stop and then transfer it onto the live rig itself. But I just think I'll give it another week and see how we go, and then it gets another 10 minutes extra and so on. So I've got to get that sorted before. Just got to stop doing it and get it into the actual live setup. Finish this rig, all this stuff that I've spent from DIY stores and God knows what to build these bits for my rig that don't work perfectly now, so I've come up with a different idea, but I'll have to see how that works. And then I do another brain fade like everyone gets when you've got a little bit of equipment and you think, yeah, this will work. It doesn't work, and you spend days, weeks trying to work it out, think it's bust or there's not, it doesn't work how it's supposed to, and then wake up one morning and have a sudden inspirational hit, and then realise that you've just not pressed 2 buttons, and now it works. So other than that, yeah. Well, I do it every time. It's like when
I think we've all done something like that.
You should try running a live stream.
Exactly. You just mute yourself by accident.
Yeah. Or just be forgetful.
Yeah.
Me.
So other than that, I've not had time to write any other albums or stuff. There's loads on the horizon, and but yeah, I'm trying to write this live rig too. I get too carried away. See, it's Andy's fault for getting me to do a live set, because I just spend too many hours increasing it instead of just getting it down. But yeah, that's my New Year. I think I put on Facebook I was up till about 4 o'clock in the morning New Year's Day. Yeah, because I got carried away. But yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. I'll just have to see how my chest goes because it's really tight. But other than that, yeah. Well, is that because I've got a bad chest?
No, that's for the bad chest.
All right.
And that's time's up. Right, next. Andy, how's your week been, mate?
Hey. Santa still has a beard. He hasn't shaven yet, so sorry about that.
Yeah, I like the look, man. Join us. Join us in the bearded men.
It's not good. It looks like crap. So, no, it's been a fun week. Mostly January experiments, playing with all kinds of weird stuff and having fun making goofy demos. So that's been pretty much it for the week. Gearing up for NAMM, that'd be fun. Can't wait to do that. And other than that, it's nothing else new to report. No new purchases. I'm kind of broke right now, so got to be a good boy and just kind of use what I have, which is famous last words, right? So, but this I do have to do that. There's no choice.
Use what you have, but if I have this, it'd be better.
Yeah. Well, there's always stuff on the horizon, always stuff on a wish list, and always stuff that I almost got. Yeah, there was some good stuff on the holidays, and obviously before that Black Friday that was tempting. But I think I got a couple like little cheap software things. But I kind of already have all the suites and stuff. I don't really need to buy anything else for that. But yeah, no, it's been a good week. Otherwise, just doing the usual stuff, and happy to be here.
Fantastic, and we'll do that again. I think we'll stop doing that now, though. It's getting a bit old. All right, Ian's there. Hey, how are you, Ian? How's your week been, mate?
Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. I've had the weirdest week ever, actually, because not to bring the show down, but my mum died on New Year's Eve, which was completely unexpected. She'd had an operation on
So sorry, mate.
between Christmas. No, thank you. And can I just say, thanks to everybody, most people in the chat have been in contact, but through social media, the people that rang me and messaged me, thanks to everybody for all the support, because me, Jane and the boys, we've had lots and lots of support from everybody out there in the internet land. So, I mean, thanks for that. Yeah, it was just completely unexpected. She'd fallen, had an operation was successful. She was out of the chair the next day. She was, a bit of discomfort, but she seemed fine. And then we don't quite know what happened, but she just passed away in the middle of the night, or early morning, early New Year's Eve. So New Year was a bit strange. I did actually do Jamie's show because I wanted to do something to distract myself, if I'm honest, because we'd had the whole day of sort of dealing with, the shock of it. And so no, but I mean, not only have I got this house to clear now, I've got another house to clear where my mum's been living there for 30 years. And she's kept everything, I mean, like childhood pictures and everything. Anyway, what else are we doing? Managed to put an audiophile radio show out, and most of the people on this panel are in it, except you, Ranzee. I apologise. You're not on it, only because I couldn't find anything live by you. And the whole show is about doing live stuff. But Andy's there, Darren's there, both Andys are there actually. So that's just gone live on Apple, iTunes, all those sort of places. Not YouTube yet, that'll be next week. But apart from that, and sort of doing, feeling a bit weird by the whole experience, that's my week.
Fantastic for the the podcasts and being on Jamie's show and all that sort of stuff, and a massive condolences to your family.
No, thank you,
Ian.
Yeah.
I feel for you, mate. I really do. Luckily for me, I still have both of my parents, but they are sort of heading in that age where
she
cherish every day you got with them.
Yeah. She was 93, and she was starting to have sort of problems with where she was living. She's sort of sheltered living, but we were getting to that point where we might have had to start thinking about care homes and things. And she was definitely, categorically, she said to me on Friday, "Don't put me in a care home." I'm thinking, well, Mum, we might not have that choice eventually. It might not be up to us. Medically, you might not be able to look after yourself. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I mean, it's just one of those things, really.
Well, 93 is a damn good innings.
It's a good age, yeah.
Very, very good innings. Because what's the average? It's 80, 82, 83, I think, for the human race.
Mid 80s, isn't it?
Yeah. So she's exceeded the average. It's always good.
She has,
like if you were a batter in cricket, you probably wouldn't be too happy with 93 because you were close to getting a century, but you'd be happy. You'd be pretty happy.
It's a good innings.
It's a good
innings. To stick with the cricket.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go across to Brooks. You haven't had him on for a while. How are you, mate?
No, I'm all right.
And it says Chris.
Coming through, okay.
I'll fix up the title.
Chris Maikshifter.
I'll have to fix it up. So you've caught me off guard, though.
No worries. Is this mic coming through okay?
Just it's working fine.
Still working, okay.
Yeah, it's working fine.
Yeah, whoa, what a few weeks. Before I say that, I'll just pass on my condolences again to Ian. It's a difficult thing to have to deal
Andy.
with. So you're in our thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Well, December and beginning of January have been proper mental. 5 gigs. 5, well, EMOMs and a proper gig, if you know what I mean. And
that's a
getting
tour.
Ready for those and playing those. Well, yeah, almost. And then doing some hardware jam stuff with Grace, obviously. And actually, I've been spending money. Oh boy, have I been spending money. Oh. I can show you the new things if you want me to flash them about, or we can wait till later if you want.
Yeah, you can show them.
You want to do the flash? You want me to flash it now, dear? Right, sorry, it'll be the ceasing moment as I move the.
Flash your bits.
So let's see if I can
show
get
us your bits.
Point in the right direction. There's me there's my case. Oh, that camera's not focusing very well. So you can see uppercase, lower row, XPO, QPass, maths, low pass gate, mute buttons, and a little mini mixer. Lowercase, Hermod plus sequencer, which I've not got my head into yet. And then I ran into problems. I ran into big problems because this case, there isn't enough 5-volt power to power the other new module, which is in that rack over there. You can just about see it over there, the blue box mixer. So I'm now going to have to buy another bloody power supply just to run the blue box mixer, because the blue box and the Hermod together draw far too much on the 5-volt rails for most power supplies. Certainly that tip-top power supply there.
Yeah.
Now it runs the Hermod and everything else quite comfortably, because nothing else is drawing 5 volts. This is very nerdy, isn't it?
I love it.
But as soon as I put that shiny thing up there into this rack, it hates it. It just won't have it at all. So
it's quite common for eurorack power to have less current on the 5-volt rail.
Yeah, because it's for powering digital things really. But each of these boxes draw 850 milliamps. Is that right?
That's pretty hungry.
Milliamps on the 5-volt rail.
Yeah,
and the tip top chucks out 1,000 milliamps. So you can't run the two. So I'm going to have to get another bloody power supply, or a much bigger, much beefy one to run the entire case.
Yeah, I was actually looking at. If I can click on that, is that going to work? Yay! I was actually looking at little power solutions, so I might have a chat to you a bit later. One of the options you can do is there's a little Synchrotech one that you can get, which is literally like a little mini bus board, right?
Yeah.
And you can connect it up to one of those little USB wall wart things, just like you would charge your phone with, one of those jobbers.
Right, yeah.
And it's got pin headers across, and so that it's actually pretty inexpensive. I think if I looked at the price, it was something like about 30 quid, 25, 30 quid, somewhere around there. So I'll link you up. You can have a look at that. It might save you some HP if you want to look at a whole power supply.
It might. The question will always be how much power it chucks out on the 5-volt rail. Because I was talking to Steve.
It's about 3 amps apparently. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it on the 5-volt rail?
Yep.
That's always. I'll have a look.
Yeah.
But I've had a number of other sorts of possible solutions which I'll look at, and Steve and I were chatting about the Constant-Labs power supplies, or 4MS Row Power 45, or the new Befaco trolley bus system. But it's another 200 quid down the Swanee, which I have.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Spent it all. I wasn't budgeting for another power supply.
Well, I mean, this little Synchrotech thing might be a good little interim solution for you. Anyway, we'll chat.
I'll have a look at that.
Later.
Thanks for the tip. Yeah. Brilliant.
Awesome. Right. And
that's where I get lucky with IntelliGel. They provide way too much power on all the buses, so I'm all set. So
over on StreamYard, we have Steve. I'm just going to get Steve full screen. Hey. You'll be able to see yourself at the moment, mate. Apologies for that. I don't have any other way of doing this. How are you, mate? How's your week been?
It's been good. Happy New Year to everyone. I've just been struggling with you're right, Andy. I've been struggling with power myself, to be fair, but more interference issues than anything else. And I hadn't really noticed it until I started auditioning some samples that I bought from Dean. And the actual noise was louder than the actual program was playing, so it got ridiculous. So what I ended up doing was taking the two bitbox micros out off the power supply and putting in a CP1A just to power them independently from the main case power supply, which has got a Constant-Labs in it, which is 6 amps, but it's just, you get this wishy-washy type digital sound on top, and it's just really irritating, especially if you've got it turned up.
I think it's the nature of a lot of those DSP type chipset type modules where it's basically like plugging a computer in. You know what it's like when you guys used to get those Roland boutiques and they had the ground loop noise in them. It's basically the same issue, but you get it in Eurorack. And one of the ways you can fix it is by doing filtering. And sometimes the bus boards have filters on them, but sometimes the filters on them aren't good enough. No. And you can tell by looking at the bus board, it'll have a lot of capacitors around where the pin headers are. Another way to do it is what you've done is just literally run them on separate rails, and then they should behave.
Yeah. Well, what I'm doing is building a setup similar to Andy. So you've got like two halves of the case. It's got modules in. So I've got another half the case built here that I was going to use, and I bought rails for it. But what I'm going to do in the end is take this mixer out of here, and it'll be on a completely separate power supply, which is a 4MS Rode Power 45, because it's quiet as a mouse when I put it on there. It's great.
Yep.
So that's the plan there. But I'm just waiting on the rails coming from Synth racks in the UK.
Yeah.
So then I can have a case that kind of splits.
I had a similar problem with a Tasty Chips thing a while back, which you knew about. So
that ECR one.
Yeah.
I remember that featuring on your show. Yeah.
And I tried it in all of my different cases. So let me just bring you guys back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it in all of my cases, and it made no difference. I feel like there's two people at fault here. There's powerboard manufacturers and also module manufacturers. Now, if module manufacturers are just using really, really basic power circuitry on their modules, and a lot of them are lazy, they'll just put what's needed. They might, if we're lucky, they might put bridge rectifiers in just in case we put the plug in the wrong way around, and it will fix that problem. 9 times out of 10 they'll do that, but what they don't usually do, because it costs a lot more, is to actually put filtering on the actual power circuit on the actual module as well, and that reduces things like impedance, and we can only wish that this whole dreaded USB, because we're talking 5 volts, right, which is the same issue that USB people with desktop modules have, the same issue. And I still don't think that people have completely fixed it. But let us know how both of you go, by the way. So
I had that noise problem on my old Deptford cases, and that wasn't even the USB. That was just the regular circuit. Just got really noisy from the poor power conditioning. And then I had to add that mutable instruments 5-volt plug to give it 5 volts at all.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, so I'll grab out my bus board for the module racks that I'm putting together. But if you're looking at sort of relatively good DIY power, you can look at things like Meanwell power supplies, because they're relatively well. They're made in China, but they're relatively well built to a spec, and they've got good filtering in the actual power supplies. And then you literally just screw in the wires like the old days, and the bus boards will connect it up. But I'll show you guys that in a sec when we get into the other part of the show. Okay, I want to go across. Yeah,
sorry.
Go.
Just as a side note for Andy, I've just brought up the spec from that blue box, and the 5-volt rail can command anything from 500 to 850 milliamps, depending on the 5-volt rail, depending on the screen brightness. So if you just right on the edge, if you put the screen down a bit, it might work.
Andy, you're muted. Brooksy, muted.
Take a drink. It's the same. It's the same with the Hermod.
Okay.
I don't know whether you can adjust the screen brightness on that or not. They're both quoted at 850. So even turning it down to 500, with the screen not very bright, it's still going to draw too much from the 5-volt rail of the top power supply.
Yeah,
it's a bloody ball ache. And as Robbie
they're
Puricelli says,
mini
you don't have this
computers,
problem
guys.
with real synths.
You got to remember these things
No,
are
we
mini
don't.
computers. They're pretty.
Yeah.
They're pretty beefy. Right. Let's
You're
say.
not selling,
can I re-
you're not selling modular to me. I can tell you that.
Can I
Modular are the
remind
original
Robbie
real synths.
about-
You guys got to get that.
Go for it, Brooksy. Yep.
I was just going to say, can we remind Robbie about the interesting problems with power supply that he had with the lovely DX1? Just put it out there, you know.
Well, let's not
Yeah.
talk about 1970s/80s power supplies.
That's a twist of the knife.
Literally, your local utilities company would be jumping up and down every time you turn your studio on if you're full of vintage gear. Right, let's say good day to the chatties. I did mention that earlier that we are going to say good day. Now is your time to jump into chat and say hi because this is where it shows. So hello, everyone. Hello. How are we all? Happy New Year. I think JX3D was the Yellow Guernsey winner this week. Big hello to you, bud. And I hope you're feeling better. Kent's coming in next. G'day, Kent. How are you, mate? Morning, buds, he says. Kosh Dukai's there. Big hello to you. Inverted Popes, our illustrious moderator in the chat room. Good on you, mate. Robbie Puricelli, as we mentioned him before, he's in there. Failed Muse, Future World Machines, big hello. Who else do we have? They're all saying hello to it. Lady Aptitude Babs, big hello. Good year. That's an interesting way. G'day to you. There you go. Crikey. Who else? I actually never say those words, by the way. Matt Brown. Hello, Matt. Hello, Geert. And Kissing the Machine. I don't think I've ever really said it. Like, if I've said it, it's like a forced thing. Homegrown. Right. I'm a little boring, actually. Macrodose. Big hello to you, Mr. Mac. JP Page 2's there. Saren. Yay. Hello, Saren. Big hello to you. I don't know if I've come across your name before, but let us know where you're from. If I've forgotten, do apologise. Just throw your synth at the screen if you don't like that. Half God, Half Beast is there. Pat Brady's there. Hello to you guys. And scrolling, James Glue. I did see him before. Yep, there he is. Hello, mate. Merbit's there. Big hello, Merbit. And lots of you guys talking to each other. Keith in Watford. Big hello to you, mate. Mr. Meme. Keep them coming, mate, because some of them will get shown. Absolutely. Andy Synchrotron's there. Big hello to you. This is actually scrolling really, really well today. Really, really nicely. And I think that'll do for now anyway. Brett Lemmings, I think I saw as well. There's the Breathalyzer. Sean Johnson Music is there. Big hello to you. I did see you as well. Look, I'm going to have to stop it there, but there's a lot of you guys. Anyway, as you can see, Kent's popped £20 in. Big thank you for that. Any chance you can tell me ahead of time what the guest synth is now so I can win? I honestly can't because I have purposely not watched it. Okay, and I'm not lying. I have not watched it. I watched like the first 3 seconds to see if the video worked. So I'm going to be like freaking
just to
out.
prove it wasn't inappropriate, right? So.
Yeah. Just to make sure we can watch it. I do like to sort of, I like to enjoy it with you guys. So not a bribe, honest. Yes. Anyway, we will get to the Name That Synth a little bit later. But first, we should get into our regular segments, and we always start with this one. Yes, this happens quite a lot in this studio. There's actually no caption on this. I think you guys could just read your own caption, I guess. Maybe he's
dinner's ready.
Maybe he's trying to find that right snare. That's usually a common one.
So you will not ignore me is what the thing is.
Get
your dinner's in the dog.
Get out. This one I just thought was kind of interesting. Like, what is this? It was just weird. I just thought I'd just show it.
Strange.
It is very weird. It's got a keyboard and it's got a whole bunch of Da Vinci-like sketches in it. It's very Da Vinci-like. Anyway, if anyone knows what that is,
rarefaction of air. That's good.
if Yeah, let us know. Then we've got this one. I hate to be the one to break it to your kid, but we all jam and make beats. There's a whole bunch of guys washing up dishes. The struggle is real, people. The struggle is real. And off to the Lego boxes again. This one's FL Studio. These are really good, these are. They're very, very clever. I think there's one more, actually. There we go. The deluxe.
That's very clever. I like that.
But notice the spelling mistake down the bottom.
It's
Deluxe
Moog.
synthesizer. Good old
Oddly
AI.
enough, that little Lego keyboard was better than the MPC keys. So
Probably. And let me just double check. I think that is it. Indeed it is. That is it, people. So please let us know in the chat, and also with all of you gentlemen, what your favorite meme is for this week, because we do go back and check.
I think the Lego, the FL Studio Lego one, for me.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd go with the Lego.
I like
do like that picture though.
I like the variation on "You Will Not Ignore Me." The lady getting mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few saying that.
Dinner's ready. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still in here? You've been in here all day. What are you doing in here?
You left the other one
How
on.
many pianos do you need? All of the above comments would work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that one was a real one that I had. How many pianos do you need? And I said, well, actually, I don't have any pianos in here. I mean, I can make them sound like a piano, but I actually don't have any pianos in here.
At which point you probably got a withering look.
Oh, yeah.
I say semantics always add fuel to the fire, right? So that
You can't win. Lego Moog for me, says IP. Yeah, I thought he'd like that one. So it looks like it's probably a cross between the Angry Lady and the Lego. So we'll do a double this week. We'll do a tie. Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. And I do have to. You guys have to remind me, because we don't have chat shown in our little sort of six up little screen here. So we need to go across to chat every now and then if something's interesting in chat. Of course, but maybe you guys might be interested in some products. Well, I'm hoping so. And I do apologise, because I actually should have showed this one last show and I forgot to show it. It was actually at the end. So anyway, it's showing now. And I do like the guys at Conductive Labs, because I have got the big version of the MRCC, the big rack version. This is they've decided to bring out a smaller one, which is like a little desktop job. And this could very well be quite useful for someone who wants like a, let me say like a 4, it's a 4-port MIDI, but it's actually more than that. It's actually 8. Now, one of the things that's really, really cool about it is the PC connection in the middle, which is your little USB-B type connection in the middle. It actually has virtual connections on it, so you can run, I think it's up to 12 or something. It might be 8 in this case for this one, but in mine it's up to 12 virtual connections. And a virtual connection is every single connection has 16 MIDI channels, and so that's, in this case, if it's 8, it's 8 times 16 channels, and then you can map those through your DAW or whatever into this, so you can have like soft synths being triggered by hardware all over your studio, and you can map it with the DIN plugs that you can see there, or the little TRS connection. There's only one on the in and out on this particular one. On the bigger one that you get there's actually 4 of them, so a lot more connections on that. But this is actually quite compact, and when I tell you the price, you'll probably understand this is actually a pretty decent deal. This little baby here is only $179 US.
Wow.
And you've got yourself a really, really cool. Now, one of the things I should mention too is if you want to route, say, MIDI DIN 1 to, it's coming in, and you want to route it to MIDI DIN 3, it's literally you just press that button that's on the little console there, and it will light up green, and then you press 3 on the MIDI out, and it will literally connect those two. So it's got all these little sort of really handy connections in, and you can connect them all. You could have MIDI 1 going in and going out to all 4 if you want, or you could have your DAW going out or going in. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Now, also in this, there's a bunch of other features like channel split, clocks and filters. There's
Panic.
There is a MIDI monitor now. I'm not really sure how that works because there's actually no little OLED. Yeah, there's a panic. That's for Darren.
Panic button.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the MIDI panic button in the older gear? Yeah.
Gotta have panic. It's useful. Yeah, this is very useful.
Does that send out an all notes off command or everything off command or whatever?
Basically,
is that what the panic button does?
Like a kill switch.
You do get MIDI crashes.
Yeah.
It's quite common.
Yeah, I've had it once or twice recently, actually.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
I mean, the other
It's
way
like,
to do it is you can just
it
turn this
literally is
thing off
panic,
and on.
isn't it? It's like, ah!
Now, the other cool thing is this has got little saves and loads, so you can actually have different presets in this, and that is really, really cool. So one of the things I do with mine is if I've set something up in the studio, but I don't want that to be my normal, routing configuration, I might save that as a different preset. And then, if I'm working on something over a few days, when you power off and power on again, you don't lose all your settings. So that's really, really cool. And having multiple presets just gives you that flexibility to have different configs. Like, for example, Darren, you could have a preset here in your studio, and then you could have a preset for your live rig. So you don't have to have to configure it.
That's what I mean. I'm quite liking it, actually. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's not 170 odd. That's
what's that, about 130 quid, 140 quid, somewhere around there?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Quite like it, actually. I'm quite interested in it.
So the more
price is
information,
good. I love the Noodler, and it wasn't that expensive. So
what else can I tell you about it? So I mentioned there's 4 DIN inputs plus 1 shared 3.5mm TRS type MIDI type A. Now, if you've got MIDI type B, you can just actually check out my channel. There's a really, really cool little hack that you can build for very, very little to convert a type A to a type B. On mine, which is the bigger brother of this, it has type A and type B switching on it. There's 4 USB MIDI virtual inputs. There you go. That's how many it was, 4. And automatic MIDI merging. And what was the other thing? There's a per port MIDI activity monitoring thing. Now, I don't actually know how they're going to do that, whether it's just like a little flickering light or something going on there, because there's no OLED. So that'll be interesting. You can get it if you're in the UK from Juno Music and from Signal Sounds. And the US is Perfect Circuit, Patchworks, Control Voltage. If you're in Germany, it's Schneiderladen and obviously Thomann as well. So they're the places you can get it from. Don't know the prices over there, but they did show this at NAMM. So I think they might have shown the bigger one at NAMM though, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, there you go. Little MIDI Essential Patch Bay, the MRCC 880. Any questions? Any comments from you guys before we go on?
It's a lot more versatile than my Kenta MIDI through box that I've got.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
Much so, yeah.
When I change my studio around, I may end up getting one of these because I may need one. No. So, but I like the fact it's got lots of flexibility on it.
Yeah.
The price is okay for this sort of thing. It is what it is, really.
I don't think there's anything in the market that competes price-wise with this.
Yeah.
No, I'm using
jump into software.
A little thing. So this has got 4 MIDI in, and you swap it around, and 4 MIDI out. And little monitor on it, and it's also got USB. But you got to use this with a computer. It won't work.
Yeah.
On it. I've just unplugged it now, so I'll just plug it back in.
Now nothing works.
Yeah, that's it. Buggered it now.
But those little boxes that you showed, Brooksy, they're basic. They're just very, very basic routing.
Yep.
So you can't sort of do like on the fly. Oh, I want port 1 to go to port 3 and all that.
You can't use it on its own. No, you can't use it on its own. It's got to be with your software.
Yep. There are some people in chat talking about the big one. The big one is just called the MRCC. I think they're about, well, Tracker Jack's saying they're €550 for the big one. I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's €550. I thought it was around 300, 400, somewhere around there. Unless their prices have gone up. Let me just double check.
I might be struggling to get it through the Cape of Good Hope.
479 here.
Okay, maybe it is.
From Toman. Yeah, 479.
Have they stopped making it? The big one.
Well, Toman have got stock.
Here we go. Order. Sorry, I'm just clicking on website links, and it's probably not the best thing in the world to do. $439. I can't see that being €550. Is my maths right there? I'm pretty sure, unless the euros have literally dropped in value.
Euro and dollar is
the same, isn't it?
Are they minus tax prices though?
Good point.
Oh, okay, yeah. You might be looking at VAT and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
guys have got to check all that sort of stuff out.
I just buy
a
small
by the way, if I didn't mention, if you're in Australia and you do want the Conductive Labs gear, you can get it from Found Sound. That's the distributor in Australia. And there was another one. And if you're wondering who Signal Sounds are, they're in Scotland, in Glasgow.
Hey, good old Scotland.
Yes. All right. We should continue. Right. Next, we also have nothing. Oops. Yeah, let's go back. It's really laggy. I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's do this one first, because there's a little video and we can watch that at the same time. So what do I need to do to get rid of this? I need to go like that, and then find the video. Where is the video? Oh, okay. Guess what I've forgotten to do? I've forgotten to launch OBS. This new thing that I've got to do now. That's why I've forgotten to do it, because I've got to get used to this. When you've been doing something for like 5 years, basically, and then you've got to change, it kind of sucks.
Takes a while.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, OBS is a pain anyway, no matter how you use it.
Yeah, at best it is. Yeah.
I mean, I have to use it for some of my streams, but it's not my favorite.
Let's see if I can get this thing to wake up. Hey, there we go. All right, here we go.
The sonic sensation of the golden era. Mega Synthesis.
Well, there we go. Great little intro.
It's like a chiptune and J-pop all in one.
This little thing, I don't know if you guys have checked it out, but it's basically the FM chip that was in a lot of the arcade machines. It has a little 4-operator FM chip in it. And on this particular SonicWare Liven type platform, I mean, you guys have seen some of the other SonicWare Liven gear before. It's very similar layout. There's a slightly different layout with the button, with this. Anyway, you get 3 FM voices, and you get 2 PSGs and 1 PCM. Now the PSGs are interesting. The PSGs are like you get a choice between like a square wave or a whole bunch of different sort of noise type sounds. So that's that sort of chiptune-y square wave, chiptune-y noise sounds, like a bit like a Commodore 64, but not really. It's more like a Sega one. And the PCM, there's only one of those, and they just play little samples. And there's a whole bunch of samples already preloaded, which they talked about in the video. I don't remember if they gave you the ability to load your own PCM samples in here or not. Maybe, I'm not sure. Someone could let us know in chat if they can or not. But this is, so if you want to sort of go into crazy editing of FM synthesis and stuff like that, get the other SonicWare Liven FM one. That would probably be better for you. This one is kind of like, I just kind of feel like it's pretty much what that video showed. If you want to kind of create gamey sort of sounding stuff on here, this is pretty cool. Like if you really like that chiptuney sort of stuff. And it does have the PSG synths engines, like that square wave is actually quite clean sounding, so you could actually get a nice thing. But this thing's all digital. So anyway, thoughts, comments?
I'll say what Robbie said. It reminds me, it brings back those games, 8-bit games, and like you say, Commodore, Sega Mega Drives and stuff, which at the time I liked, but it's just not. I'm just not into the chip tune anymore. I think it's for the younger generation that don't even remember anything sounding like that, because they're all too used to high quality, proper sounds coming from the games and music. So it's not my cup of tea. Even though it does remind me of those cool Commodore and Sega games. But yeah, I just can't get this chiptune thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them when they were out, but I think I must be getting old, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're either into it or you're not. $239 is the price that I've been able to get off of the SonicWare website. I'm not sure if that's the price that you guys get in your local places. I think you have to buy it direct from them at the moment. I think Robbie's got one, hasn't he? I think he's got
one coming. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got one coming.
Yeah.
I'm with Darren on this. This is definitely. I mean, I used to sell Commodore 64s back in the day when I was a teenager. I used to be a big fan of the Sega Game Gear, and all of that. But I don't want to make music like this. It's just not for me, really. You know, like you say, I think I am definitely too old for this one. It's for the youth of today, I would say.
Yeah.
Trying to recall the music of computer games of yesteryear.
Of their ancestors, yes.
Yeah. Some people are going to absolutely love it. Some people are going to go, this is just what I need. It's right up my street. And they'll snatch it up, and they'll probably shift quite a lot of them. And people put it to good use, having fun with it. I really do think that's what will happen. It isn't for everybody. It's definitely not for me. Those horrible shrill square waves just sorry. But yes, some people are gonna love it. You know, I mean, I've seen a number of performers at EMOMs and at other events who use chiptune things, little what do you call those, PlayStation little handheld things. Yeah, check out. There's a guy on the internet called Harley Likes Music. He's from Sheffield, and he's absolutely phenomenal with these things. It really is amazing. Just using little trackers on these little thingies, Game Boy things. Well worth checking out. Sorry, Darren, go on.
How old is he, by the way?
Probably early to mid-20s.
There you
I
go.
was just thinking there's another
Bingo.
there was another reason why it might be for the younger generation as well. Because our hearing's gone from those high notes. That's they're hearing them, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not hearing all that classic.
What did he say? What did he say?
Our hearing's like 3 a.m. at the club.
Hey.
That's what our hearing's like.
We're more down in the mids and bass.
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is you don't have to make chiptune music with it. It's just chiptune type sounds, so you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Really,
This is also
doesn't
true,
dictate
Andy.
the
Yeah.
music you make. But
Wisdom.
the fun thing about this is it's like I have Sid Guts Deluxe, the Sid chip, and my modular, and it has the Sid sound, but you can do crazy crap with it. It's not just limited to what you expect from the Sid station.
Oh yeah, she can sound
and the
beautiful with Sid
64.
chip. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful. And also, I mean, I like some of the chiptune stuff out there. I'm not a big J-pop fan, but I like some of the chiptune stuff. But the I was more into mod tracker music
Yeah,
that was
same.
on the Mac and stuff in the late 80s, early 90s, and that stuff sounded beautiful because it used samples, even though it was lo-fi samples. There's a famous Hadaway track somebody made of "What Is Love," and it's a perfect replica of the song with the least amount of samples possible. It was blown away, and it fit on
I actually
a
remember
partial.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could fit like 10 of them on a floppy. These tiny songs,
Yeah.
right?
I
With
mean,
the sounds.
It was
It's
probably it was
like
probably
a MIDI file with
12-bit.
the sounds
Yeah.
embedded.
It was probably 8-bit or 12-bit. Yeah. Or maybe it
Exactly. Yeah, and it was,
might have been 16-bit. If it was an Amiga, it might have been 16-bit.
yeah, so you can do stuff like that. It was pretty clever. So I'd like to see what someone does with this that's not chiptune. You know, I might pick one up at some point. So.
That little PSG square wave has some bass in that. There, go check out Chris Lodi's video on it. He does a little sort of demo of the the basic features of it, and once he shows you that square wave, it's got some real bottom end to it. So you could make a nice bass, like a bass track out of it. It's not like you guys say. It's purely digital. It's some people in chat said the word shrilly, I think, or upper harmonics or stuff like that. So it's not all that, because there's definitely some samples that it's got complete drum kits and things like that in there. Some of the drum kits are purposely arcade-like, so you will get that real sort of Game Boy sound or the arcade sound. But some of them are just normal drum kits. So for me,
even the OP1 and OPZ have lo-fi instruments on them in some areas.
They do, yeah.
And you're not forced to do chiptunes with those either. There's all kinds of stuff done with those. So
for me, I'm still happy with the sample track. I think that's their best product that they've brought out. These guys so far, the good thing about sample players is that you can upload your own sounds to them. As long as the playback isn't crap, as long as it's better than CD quality, which it is, you can't go wrong. But this one might be up your alley if you're into the Sega Mega Drive or that arcade sort of sound. Definitely go check it out. What did I say it was? 239 US. It's not bad. It's pretty decent price. I feel like. It's got full connectivity. It's got MIDI. It's got USB. It's got audio in and out sync. There's some decent connectivity. Run it on batteries.
There's a lot of black buttons on there, though, isn't there? If you're doing an EMOM or you're doing a live show with it,
it's not a lot of backlit stuff. All the backlit stuff is just across that sort of glory where you can see them, and everything else is
most
just
of their products
plastic.
are black and dark gray. So
Yeah. That is a really good point, Ian. Definitely a good point. All right, let's move on to the next. The next one is quite interesting. You guys saw it before. This is a VCV rack product that is free. Yes, you can get this and download it as part of VCV rack, and it's by a group of guys who are sort of like it's literally like a bunch of guys who developed together called VoxGlitch, and this is called the AmpSeq or ARPSEQ. It's like a little arpeggiator sequencer. I would love to see this in hardware. That would be a cool thing. And
they have that module you can put VCV stuff in. You could put that in hardware.
Yeah. To be fair, I can't even tell you what half of this stuff does. But what we will do is we'll watch a video, and maybe we might get some answers with the video. There's the video there. Here we go.
Few months I collaborated with VoxGlitch on the AmpSeq. It's an arpeggiator module that you can use to arpeggiate chords. You can use this as a complex sequencer and even to sequence drums together with the note detector module that we also worked on. It has 4 built-in sequencers for gate length, transposition, and 2 modulation sequencers, each with its own length, probability per step, cycles per step, and more unique features. Both of the modules are available for free, and in this video I would like to show you a few interesting things you can do with the AmpSeq and then quickly show you the concept behind the note detector. And we will start with the basic functionality. Okay, so the basic way an arpeggiator works is it will take a chord and it will play the notes of the chord one after the other, and depending on the arpeggiator, you might be able to play the notes in a different order. So let's really start with the most basic function of the AmpSeq, which is really arpeggiating chords. So first of all, I will use my MIDI keyboard in this case, but we will also use a sequencer soon enough. So the pitch for my keyboard will go to the pitch of the AmpSeq, right? Also the gate, of course, I have here polyphony set so I can play chords. We will also need the clock to tell the AmpSeq at which rate to arpeggiate the notes. So in this case, I have here the clock from Impromptu. And now the voice that I will use to play these notes is kick-all from Befaco, right? So I will connect the pitch to the pitch input of kick-all and the gates to gate or to trigger this voice. And now as soon as I hold the chord on my keyboard and as long as I hold it, the notes will arpeggiate. I can also turn on.
So this is going to go for 24 minutes and we can't sit here and watch it all, but what we can do is I actually downloaded it and installed it, and I just thought I'd show you guys what it looks like real in VCV Rack. Let me just launch VCV Rack. I actually have to update VCV Rack too, I didn't know. And if we go to here, close that, there she is. Isn't that awesome? So like the guy said, you can bring with VCV, by the way, these are all virtual modules, right? So what you're looking at here is a computer, and this is all just you playing around with Eurorack without having to spend a cent. Everything that you see on the screen right now has not cost me anything. It's free. This MIDI to CV application is part of the actual core VCV suite, and if you want to select your MIDI device, you literally click on it, and you can click on what MIDI device you want to connect to. In this case, I've got the Arturia key step, and it's listening on that, and pitch, gate, in this particular case, clock if we need it, and reset if we need it to stop. And that is then going out. And the cool thing about my setup is I've got a Expert Sleepers module in my Eurorack, which is actually an audio interface, and I can do DC coupled control voltages back out into my Eurorack, so I can actually patch this sequencer or arpeggiator into actual real Eurorack modules. And yeah, I just thought definitely go check it out, guys. It's like I said, it's free, and all this sort of stuff is really easy to draw in. You know, your gates, your gate intensities.
Who makes this, Ranzee?
VoxGlitch. So if you go to VCV Rack and you click on library, like that. Oops, we don't want to do that right now, but you guys get the idea. I don't want to go to the website right now. But yeah, you go to that, and it will.
I've seen if I could find them in my rack, but they weren't listed in my rack. So
yeah. So let's go back to that. Yeah. Anyone interested in that? I mean, it's free. Who's not got VCV Rack? It's a standalone application, so you can run it on Windows, Mac. It is literally standalone, so you don't need a DAW. You can run it separately. You haven't got it yet, Brooksy?
I did have it on my old computer. We could only run about 3 modules before the computer tripped up, and I've never bothered putting it on this one because I've got this stuff over here. So perhaps I should. Perhaps have a play. Grace uses it. Grace has got it and uses it. So
yeah. And like I said last
need a better
week,
computer.
there's a whole bunch of new ALM busy circuits modules in there now. There's expert sleeper stuff in there, and there's a whole bunch of other. And by the way, if you actually are someone who has a little bit of a dabble with C++, you can actually write your own, and so you can do it. You can do it so that you've just got your own module that you've written yourself, and no one in the world knows about it except you. Or you can actually publish it and share it with the rest of the world. You can even sell them if you want to. So it's like a little marketplace there. Most modules would sort of be, I don't know, anything from like $5 to sort of $20 US. So you can make a little bit of money on the side.
Do they give you partial modules you can modify, or do you really have to do it from scratch with C++?
No, there is a sandbox like Hello World tutorial that you can run, and you can create a My Module thing. It's pretty basic, and it's it's like mucking around with Arduino. It's the same sort of shebang,
right.
Teensy development, all that sort of stuff. Very similar. Actually, if you are mucking around in that sort of world right now, with Arduinos, Pis, Teensies, all those sort of things, you will easily be able to write a module for VCV. It would be dead simple for you. But if you're like a lot of people who are in the music industry and they don't really have a clue about computer science, and they're not programmers, and then enjoy what other people create, I guess, is kind of the cool thing about that VCV. I just wanted to, this is more just for Brooksy. If you want to add a module, you literally just right click and you got your library here. So these are all the modules that I hardly ever use this thing, but for example, there's an expert sleepers module there. Click on that, put it next to where you want to put it to, and then away you go. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's really not that hard to work out. I mean, if you've played in with Eurorack, it has the same vibe, except your mouse clicking as opposed to, I think for me the usefulness to it is that you get to play with something if it's free without having to go and invest in it. And for those ALM modules that I've put out, there's free ones and there's ones that have a little small cost to them. Like for example, there's Pamela's Pro Workout in there now. And if you wanted to check out Pamela's Pro Workout before you went and spent, I don't know how much is that now, it's probably, you guys could probably tell me, it's like £300, isn't it? Pamela's Pro Workout. It's not cheap.
No, it's 220.
220. So before you went and spent £220 on a module, you could buy that one's a cost one, but I think it's only like $15 or $20 US. You could buy that. In fact, I think you can trial it before you even buy it too. I think you can trial it. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Kent's comment about all his cables.
Yeah.
I'll have some off you, Kent.
Yeah.
Little ones. Just little ones for me, please.
Yeah.
You can never have enough little cables.
We need to move on because we've got lots to get through. The next thing, which I just added just before the show started, and hopefully this thing is going to go next. Come on. Seriously? Oh. Oh, what happened?
By the way, it's 259 quid for that Conductive Labs MIDI box, not 179.
Oh,
yeah,
it depends on where you're getting it from.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so I actually don't have a graphic for this, but I'll just show you the video. The Stylophone Theremin. Now, this was, I think it was about 110, did I say? Yeah, 110 US. And you can pre-order this now. Let's have a look. Drums not included. There we go.
Oh, I thought it was all coming from the box.
I reckon they're going to sell crap loads of these. I really, really do.
They are.
This is, you know, I mean, $110 for a theremin is actually relatively cheap. I mean, you can get kits. We were talking about this pre-show. You can get kits. You can make your own. There's a whole bunch of cheap Chinese knockoffs on Amazon that you can get. But this is actually quite a decent. Like, if you looked at the way that they've made this, I kind of feel like it's quite a decently made product.
The very first theremin I built in high school from a magazine was one of these with an antenna and a knob for pitch, but it was all digital, so I was like,
yeah. I mean, this has got all the things that you probably need if you want to kind of have that live performing sort of thing. It's got the delay sound, you know, the switchable waveforms. I guess it's pretty cool, and it's nice and compact. I feel like it kind of fits in with their product genre, the Stylophone product genre. I'm still waiting to hear.
Ready.
I'm still waiting to hear about that previous one that they were supposed to launch.
The problem with these though is
what happened to that?
The problem is they show in the video the isolation with the performer, which is what you need if you guys know about theremins. They're really not happy with a lot of electronics and other bodies around. So in an EMOM, it would actually be really challenging unless you just had this on the stage, no other gear around it to mess with it. That would include lights, people, all that kind of stuff. So it's you could take it to an EMOM, but you'd have to isolate the hell out of it. So
£90 is what they're asking for if you're in the UK.
Because the heterodyne circuitry, you actually it's body capacitance and stuff, and all this other electrical fields around there really screw it up.
Yeah, the Stylophone Beat was the one, wasn't it? Was it the Beat?
That was it.
They're actually selling that.
Yeah. I think the first lot, because I got an email. I did sign up. I was quite interested in it right at the beginning until I
never
had
got
a proper
anything.
look at it.
I signed up and I never got anything.
But I decided not to buy it.
Anyway, you guys, stylophone.com. I'll put the link in the chat. You guys can go pre-order your theremin if that's who you are. If you're a theremin person,
they are fun.
Darren, are you going to get one?
5 of them.
So. I wouldn't.
Got 5 of them.
You know what? After all the cheap gear, I would probably get one. But like I say, whether you certainly, like Andy said, it could be a bit of a tricky if you wanted to use it for EMOM or. In fact, actually, in this small studio, I think the amount of electrics in there, it'll just go whacked. I'd have to do it outside somewhere.
You learn very quickly. Oh, this is limited use for certain environments.
Yeah.
And then playing with 2 hands like that's BS. You can't do that with the antenna. So.
Yeah, that's just so performing.
Yeah.
The one that I've
got
a silly dance. has it's like a I talked about this pre-show. It's like we've got this company in Australia called J-Car. They don't make this kit anymore, by the way. It's been around in my drawer as a project to build for about 10 years, and it just sat there and I forgot about it. And I found it recently, so I should probably get the soldering iron onto it. But anyway, it's got like it's got the two things. It's got the antenna and the little the metal plate, so that you get the pitch and the amplitude, and you're not having to touch that slider, which is kind of that slider thing on the Stylophone thing kind of defeats the purpose of the theremin, if you think about it, because that is kind of what the theremin's about, is that hands-free sort of gesturing type performing.
But by building into a slider, you minimize the other antenna problems with, like I was talking about, with the interference.
Yeah, that is true.
So that channels it down to just being like a volume antenna. So
yeah.
Well, I want to see someone take one of these to a packed EMOM with loads of lights and a D-beam,
Yeah.
Well, Darren, can I point out to you that you were there when Dots played at the Blackpool E-Mob?
I did. Yeah, I see. And
it
was
Nikki Louise from Dots has built an around the neck, over the shoulder, little case, and in it she's got the Dupfer Theremin, which is just one antenna.
Yeah.
So she's got this thing sticking out with a little hand as a handle, and this thing sticking out, and she's doing the movement. Absolutely brilliant. So she was using it as an E-Mob.
That's
a different device, so that one's more forgiving because I have that as well. Yeah.
Go and watch Jamie's Blackpool E-Mob stream from the 15th of December and check out Dots and her use it. It's you can't help but get the giggles, and I am absolutely convinced it's deliberate.
I thought it was funny. Yeah.
It's great.
Well, the chatties think of the little stylophone theremin. Anyway, while we're talking about what did you think of the products today, maybe mention in chat which was the most interesting. We had the SonicWare Liven, which was the mega synth, chip tuning machine. We had the MRCC MIDI router, the 880. Quite a decent price. We had the what do you call it? VCV rack arpeggiator sequencer thing. And yeah, there you go.
For me, it's the MIDI thing.
Me too, Darren. Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
MRCC.
I think MIDI thing. Yeah.
MRCC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Darren on a park bench with his little stylophone theremin go woo woo woo.
Yeah.
And a D-beam as well. Late at night, that could be dodgy.
D-beam's tricky, it turns out. Talk to people who use D-beams live, and the lighting conditions in the venue can really screw up your D-beam.
Yeah. Steve reckons it's a low news week. I kind of disagree, Steve. Chris said this is. I kind of feel like I know NAMM is about to hit, but I kind of feel like there's a lot of people who just don't care. Like in the sort of electronic music, they won't attend NAMM and they won't put a booth there, and they won't be releasing their products through there. And it's even some big manufacturers who don't go to NAMM anymore. So you'll still see products being released. I mean, like SonicWare aren't a huge company. They'll just keep releasing stuff.
2020 NAMM was actually huge. There was tons of electronic companies there, and then last time it was good, but
that
it was like
the
a fraction.
2021 was the last one before COVID hit. So
yeah,
COVID literally hit like a month later. That's what happened with that NAMM. It was a really good NAMM. I remember it. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like I would like to see NAMM personally. I would like to see NAMM go back to what that 2020 NAMM was like, because that's probably where it should be. I think.
So if you go to, I don't know if you have their stores where you are.
What's his name? Gaz Williams was talking about it recently, where he was talking about how NAMMs have kind of changed over the years. So
what Roland did with Guitar Center is they put these fancy stand-up stuff in the Guitar Centers around here. They don't think they have to go to NAMM anymore, really, because they put all this money into the stores with a mini NAMM experience.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money they put out for that. So they're not going to put it at NAMM.
They've got the Apple-like store in London now too, which is like a Roland.
Oh, really?
It's all Roland.
Yeah, Roland flagship store.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't been. In fact, next time I go down and spend a few days in London, I'm going to go. I'm going to go and have a look around.
I would actually love it.
I want to see it.
I would love to go to that.
I will do. Yeah.
I like Roland stuff.
Denmark Street, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a
I
Yamaha
really like
one
Roland
stuff.
There you go. Steve reckons Akai is not going to be at NAMM. They're probably not going to be
last
there.
Time. They were mixed in with a bunch of others.
They're probably not going to be there because they don't have anything to launch there. A lot of people thought that they were going to launch something this year, as in 2024, and maybe they will, but maybe it's not ready yet. And Akai are kind of like that. They won't launch something until they're absolutely 100% ready to launch it, and they'll delay it if they want to.
You've got to remember that NAMM was originally it's meant to be a trade show. I mean, and when we had the music show, every year, the people behind NAMM would try and get us to come over, and there was never any real reason for us to go over. And having done plenty of trade shows in the UK, I mean, they're not ideal in terms of looking at gear, because I mean, I know that having seen videos of NAMM, it's too noisy. Andy, you go. I mean, it just strikes me.
I got invited to go to NAMM last year.
Sensory overload, really.
The actual NAMM people themselves invited me, and I wouldn't be surprised if they invite me again. But there's no way I'll be going. It's not worth it.
If you pay for your flight, yeah.
But I mean, other than getting a personal, the personal experience side of it would be great.
Yeah.
If someone paid for the flight, then I'd be there with bells on. But I'm not going to fork out the crappy amount of money that I'd have to pay to go to it. Literally, if I was to generate content for this channel when everyone else is already generating content, it's literally like you're just competing for views, and I don't really want to do that. If I was going to go to NAMM, it'd have to be I would be in LA for some other reason, and I just happened to be there at the same time.
Do 2 days at NAMM and 1 day at Disneyland. It's right next door. So
this is the thing, Andy. I hate queuing up for shit. I absolutely can't stand it.
The way it is. It's the way it is.
It's just something that really grates on me. It really does. And I don't know if it's like how people have these, things that they don't like in life. One of the things is if I have to queue up for something, I just won't get it. I don't care how cool it is, or everyone's getting one. Okay. Enjoy it. I'm not queuing up for it. I'll just wait for the fad to sort of drop.
So you've never been to a Black Friday wait all night thing to get something?
we went to we have a Boxing Day sale here in Australia, where you guys have Boxing Day sales, don't you? And and the wife drags me out, and she wanted to get some pajamas, because there's this pajama shop here called Peter Alexander, and I don't see what's so good about them anyway. So we had to queue up to get into the shop, and once I got into the shop, the queue wasn't that bad. It was probably only about 5 meters long or something. So we only had to wait like 5 minutes. It was nothing, but I was kind of grumpy about the queue. It was only like 5 minutes long, and when we got into the shop, the prices were only like 20, 25, 30% off, and I'm like, but they have sales like this during the year. What's so?
Yeah,
I just didn't get it. And then I went to this other place, and there was no queues. I walked straight in. There was a pair of jeans that it's middle of summer right now, so not many jeans are getting sold, right? I got 70% off for a pair of jeans. That's a Boxing Day,
That's a bargain.
I literally picked them up, tried them on, went to the register. The whole thing was done within about 3 minutes. That's how men shop.
Yeah,
I feel good about the discount, and you walk out the door.
I refuse to queue to go in a shop, and I definitely refuse to go into a bar or a pub. I'm never going to queue to go in occasionally, obviously you have to queue in the restaurant, but
she probably is.
You guys go to concerts, there's always a queue for concerts, right? So
yeah,
she
can't help it. So many people, you have to.
My wife knows this about me, so there's nothing that if she heard this, there'd be nothing that would surprise her. And it's not a dig at her. This is just, I think like 99% of women in the world would be the same, right? So we just have to get over it, I guess. NAMM is 17th?
Just over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
22nd, I think. 22nd, 23rd. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So not far away. And it's look, if you really, really want to go, it's actually relatively easy to get in. So there's a couple of ways.
It's easy to get in.
There's a couple of ways you can get in. You can usually get in if you know someone. And the synth community, there's a lot of people that you guys know. I could know, if you do want to go and you're wondering how the hell am I going to get in, hit me up. I'll put you in contact with some people, and they might let you go with them.
Also, they changed it last year. You can get in as a nobody with no connections by paying more money. That's the first time they did that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like that though.
It's like double the price.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, they noticed the drop off in attendance, right? Because when I went the first time in 2009, you had to basically like hold someone at gunpoint to get in there, or really be in the industry, because you are not getting in there unless you are connected. And I had a connection, luckily, but it was totally different show back then.
Well, a lot of people complained about 2020 it being completely insanely too busy, and they didn't like it, and they didn't enjoy it. It wasn't the usual NAMM experience that they thought of. They thought it was more, like going to Disneyland type thing, where there was just crowds of people. And in a way,
like 2009 too. Yeah,
I could probably sort of agree with that. I don't know if I'd want it to be like packed out. It's good for the retailers, or not retailers. What are they? Wholesalers, I guess you'd call them in that case.
Wholesalers,
yeah.
Like I was there when they launched the Eigenharp, and that booth was impossible. I barely even got in to talk to the guy and play one because it was so crowded. Back then, NAMM was just nuts. Right?
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I've just checked to see whether I got the email, and I did get the invite email again this year. But I just put it straight.
I need to check. I got a massive promotions email.
Once you go once, you're done. They keep sending you stuff. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Why don't we go on to the next segment? I think we'll skip one segment. I think you guys might want to do this segment. I'm thinking this one. Yes, Name That Synth is back. Yes, and thanks to someone, I'm not going to say who, has sent a video in, and I can show it to you guys. So that's a really cool thing. So it's about a minute long, a little bit over a minute long, and we're going to sit back and we're going to watch this video. Now, if you've never ever heard of Name That Synth, because it's kind of been a little bit light on in the last few months anyway. What it is basically we watch a video where we have to try and guess what the synth is, and it's one synth. Now, hopefully the person that's done this video has stuck to the rules, and we'll work that out in a minute anyway after we see it. You've got until when I say time is up. Now, you can have as many guesses as you like, but your first guess is your actual official guess. So make sure that your first guess is the best one, and then you can just muck around after that. There is a prize, which is sponsored by Plugin Guru and the Unify software package, and also some libraries and stuff that Skippy has thrown in as well. So it's kind of a bundle of stuff. You're not just getting Unify by itself. So we'll go and check out that in a minute as well. Now, what I suggest you do is, if you're somewhere in a spot where you don't really have good audio, see if you can get some headphones on to do this part. Now, this part is only going to be enjoyed, I guess, by the live watchers. So anyone watching this on replay, you can play, but you'll find out by just fast forwarding the video and see the result. But you can have some fun and play with it anyway. Right, let's get stuck into it. Now, I'm going to play the video. We're going to sit back. I'm going to mute everyone. Chuck your guesses into the live chat. So that's the only way we'll accept the guesses. Don't sing them out if you're on the video call. And I'll do the 30 I'll give you a 30-second countdown after that, and we'll sort of go from there. Okay, let's go across to here, and let's mute everybody. We'll give you guys a little bit longer. I'll try and find that little countdown thing somewhere around here. I do have a countdown somewhere, don't I? Yeah, if I can find it. Was it this button? Let's try this button. No, it's not that button. Maybe it's this button. I forget which button it is. There we go. There we go. Time is up. Yep, time is up. Yeah, I do apologise. The audio was actually quite quiet. It was definitely cranked up to the max. Yep, I've double checked. There was probably not much more I could do other than add gaining on it. You would have heard a lot of other crap. But anyway, do apologise for that. But that's the video that I've been given. Let's find out what it was, shall we? We've had quite a lot of guesses. Lots of Korg stuff in there in the guesses. Definitely some Korgy guesses. But let's go find out. We'll keep going with the video. Ooh, has that got a few people?
Whoa,
Clever.
That has got a few people definitely. Darren, I thought you might have guessed that one, but you didn't.
Never heard of it.
No.
Me bleep.
It's to be honest, it's not common. Yeah,
it is definitely not a common synth. Wow, that actually got me.
But I had seen a YouTube
absolutely
video. I was watching it a few weeks back.
God's honest truth, I have not seen that video. I mean, I watched like the first second or two to make sure it wasn't like porn or something. But I had no idea, and that completely fooled me. So well done, well done. And let me just double check if I can get the information up. No one guessed it, did they? I mean, the closest thing I think would have been Tracker Jack's guess, the Monotribe. I reckon that would have been like literally the closest kind of think about the product.
That's a good guess, actually.
Yeah. Let me just.
the tiny knobs would have given that one away, though. Monotribe has tiny knobs on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the little Volca sort of.
Very true.
Like knobs on it.
And some light up as well.
All right, so just to give some cred to the person that sent the video in, I'm just going to let you guys know it was Tieran. And he's based in Melbourne, Australia. It was really, really nice of Tieran to submit a video. I actually don't know much about Tieran. I've got him on Facebook Messenger, so I'll definitely let him know. He did say to me that he won't be watching the show live because Melbourne is 3 hours ahead, so it would be literally like some ungodly hour over there. The sun will be coming up soon. So he watched it on the replay, but well done, Tieran. You'll score yourself a copy of Unify from and some libraries from So in fact, we should probably show a little bit about that, I think, and we'll talk about the submission and the guessing and stuff in a sec. Plugin Guru. Let's get Plugin Guru up so we can have a chat about Plugin Guru. Just waiting for the website to load. There we go. Happy holidays from Plugin Guru. Yes, there's a whole bunch of sales and stuff on at the moment. But what you're going to get is this product here, Unify. Now, if you've never ever heard of Unify, it is actually a really, really cool piece of kit for your DAW where you can manage VST standalone audio units, PC or Mac. For audio units, obviously Mac only. And you can create libraries, you can create patches with multiple different VSTs, so you can like thicken your voices up. It's actually a really, really cool piece of software. You know, there's even a video that we could check out.
Unify for you all to enjoy. We are going from Unify 1.9 to Unify 1.10. And there's a number of really cool things. I'm going to highlight 5, maybe a few extras here and there as we go through, but there's 5 really big ones that are really, really cool. Probably the coolest of them all is the ability to right-click in any plugin window and say SER and load Serum without having to scroll down a list to X for records and finding it. You can now type in any plugin name in any window. If you're here and you want to say Fab Filter, there's all the Fab Filter plugins.
Anyway, that gives you guys a bit of a taste of Unify. If you haven't got Unify, get yourself a copy of it. Skippy's awesome, by the way. That's who Skippy was. And thanks very much for sponsoring the little segment. And Tieran, you got yourself that and some libraries to go with it. So congratulations. And anyone who does actually submit a Name That Synth segment, if no one guesses it, then you win. And that's actually a pretty cool thing, because there's always going to be a winner in that sense. If you're wondering how to enter, the information's on my website, ranzee.com. You literally just click on Name That Synth over on the menu on the right. Click on that, and all the instructions are there on how to actually... In fact, that's what Tieran did. So, Tieran, what you've got to do now, mate, is you've got to scroll down to the bottom and submit your winner registration form. Complete that, send that in, and we'll get in contact with you about the prize that you've won. Anyway, let's talk about your guesses. So it was literally Korg Fest, wasn't it? Everyone thought it was a Korg.
I thought it was a Sledge, but against Surrey Kent, I think, because we've got.
I thought it was a
one.
base station too.
Base station, yeah, I saw that. I think you're the only one that said base station as well.
No, somebody else did.
You haven't got a base station though, do you, Brooksy?
Not that one. I've got the original base station rack, which is dead.
Okay. Because the knobs don't look anything like the knobs. So
no, well,
yeah,
nah.
That was kind of why.
Base station rack, the second generation.
I was kind of looking at like a Korg, because those little toggle switches on the MeeBlip do look a little bit like the toggle switches on the Mini-Log.
Yeah,
they do.
Well, yeah, great entry, excellent entry. Yes, good to have some Aussies in there doing our
plans
stuff.
went to a synth nobody's heard of. That was
yeah.
I've
got a way to win.
I've got a MeeBlip thing. I don't have a synth from them, but I've got a MeeBlip MIDI USB MIDI hub thing from. They're pretty cool actually. The MeeBlip guys. I think someone will tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I think they're in sort of Eastern Europe. If it's like the Czech Republic, or geez, I was about to say Czechoslovakia, just showing my age. The Czech Republic, or somewhere around that, Poland maybe, somewhere around that part of the world. I'm pretty sure that's where they're from. I could be wrong. They might even be in the US. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, shout out to MeeBlip anyway. If you've never had, that actually sounded pretty good. The video, there was nothing I can do to make it louder. Literally, with the split second that I had, like I was trying to sort of go, oh, what can I do? I probably could have added some gain on that audio channel, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen if I did that, and it could have wrecked it. But I do apologize if it was a little quiet. I didn't think it was like completely unusable quiet though, but definitely was quiet.
No, it was. We could hear it.
Yeah. Right. Now that we've got Name That Synth, please do send your entries in, because it's so much fun. Like, we all get such a buzz out of Name That Synth, and anyone who does one, it kind of brings you closer to that synth. Would you agree, guys? Like, if you've ever done an entry for it, it'll bring you closer to the synth. So if you've had a synth sitting in a cupboard, I don't know.
No, they're not. They're European. I'm just looking at the website now. They've got a nice little synth for €130, which looks interesting. Same sort of thing.
Yeah, just got onto it now.
Yeah.
Canada. From Canada.
Can it? Oh yeah.
Canada. There you go. I completely got that wrong.
I've had some things from
I don't
Canada,
know.
but it's not a me bleep.
Right now,
It looks
I
quite
want
cool, that
to-
little thing as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're
I'm
not
sure I looked at
expensive.
that at one point.
they're
Yeah.
not expensive. No. Anyway, I've got a feeling I know where Tyrion's found us. So I think it's through Aussie Wigglers. Chris is coming in. Chris Maikshifter is coming in. So he's going to come in through StreamYard. So we're all good. I'll just wait for that to bleep. Bleep. Is he in yet? No, he's not in yet. Okay, why don't we run the next segment, which is also another favourite. Price watch. No scams this week, people, but definitely some cool things in here, Mr. Joyce. I think you'll like some of these. Like this one. The MIDI box sandwich, Sid. I love that. The sandwich. Go make me a sandwich. Sandwich, Sid.
Wow.
That's a good one. Have you guys
I've never
seen
heard
these
of
things?
this. No, never heard of it.
No.
Never heard. I have. Oh, this.
I'm sure Wild Goose heard of it.
Circa.
Yeah, Wagyu, no. Yeah.
circa.
He's a
what are we
Sid
talking?
boy.
He's gone rack mounted.
Maybe about 2010 or something. Oh, actually, it says it on there, doesn't it? Anyway, I actually do have a live listing we can have a look at. Get rid of that stupid thing. We can actually go boom and have a closer look. There we go. So I like the little Moz sticker on the top left too. That's cool. So yeah, this thing is basically like a little SID chip player, okay, with some real basic MIDI in and out, audio in and out. Now the audio in, I believe it uses the inbuilt, because the SID chip actually has a filter in it. And actually, believe it or not, one of the first things to go on a SID chip is the filter, which is weird. So, but yeah, anyway. Yeah. That's a lot of money. 1,100 bucks.
600 quid.
Yeah, 600 quid.
Yeah.
550 quid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't even include a power supply. So yeah. But anyway, and not a scam. Not a scam. Sound like one of those videos. Yes. That one I thought was interesting. Now there's a couple of these. You guys will like these. The next ones. A Tomo synth. Jimmy, guys, we showed some of their products recently. It might have even been the Totem that we showed, right? So these ones are on eBay. This is the TT Mini system. It's an 8-voice analog percussive synth. And yep, it's live on eBay. All the links, by the way, to all these options are going to be pasted into the blog article, which is always shown within about a day or so after the show's aired.
Hey, Randy, I put 3 more in the chat if you want to check them out later.
We may have to do it next week, bud, because we've got some other stuff to get through.
Or the last one you should put first, then, because that one is huge. It's the most expensive thing I found on eBay.
Oh wow! Let me just zoom in on this. Can I go like?
But it's not a synth.
Ah, there we go. Not a synth. Not a scam. I'm guessing these are 4 voices each. Is that what it is? Yeah. Or no, 3 voices each. I'm trying to work. Oh no, there's 4. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's what makes this an 8 voice. Yeah, okay. I'm getting it now. All right. So $599 US. Interesting looking, like a Volca-like thing, isn't it? Interesting looking. It's is it Eurorack? I don't even know. Someone want to tell us that? Eurocrack. That's the wrong button. All right, what else have we got? We have also got this one, which looks almost identical to what I just showed, but it is actually a different listing. And that is the, what do you call it? The TK mini system, also live. Let's go to here. This one is a 4-voice percussion synth. So it's got the Totem 2, so you have 4-voice, and you've got the, this thing we showed, the Vactral. That's what we showed. I remember showing this. So this is the same price, and you get that Vactral thing. So what is that? That's kind of like a little percussion with wave folding. That's little synth on the right. I reckon that'd be nice to get something like that.
Looks like it's in a sort of small Eurorack box, doesn't it?
It does, like a little 4MS pod, but yeah, definitely looks like Eurorack to me.
Do the Eurorack version, Atmos synth from Juno, £265.
Okay. What are we looking at here? So if someone wants to check out the price of those two together, is it $5.99 or is this, you know, is this person dreaming? That'll be the next thing.
Hi, Chris.
We'll say good day to Chris in a sec. Let's just get through these. All right, next one we have got the Vermona Mars.
Yeah.
The Mars Control, which is an analog rack synth. Apparently they've got some defects in it, so they were saying that's, you know, $620. So there might be some issues with it, Andy, but that definitely looked interesting to me.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen this thing.
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little video there. I like how the little LCD display picks up what you're doing.
It's like a squashed version of the Performer. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So what was that? That is control unit. Synthesizer and control unit. So I guess the control unit is for the synthesizer, so I don't really understand why. Maybe you could just get the synthesizer without the control unit, I'm not sure. Anyway, that was that. And I think there was one more. Yay, this one. Now, this is kind of along the same lines as the SID sandwich. We got the Therap SID. So another SID one. So yeah, I'm trying to keep things within, you know, topic. But live auction again, $34 US. This is a bidding auction. It ends in 4 days.
That's one Wagyu definitely has.
This will go for a lot more than 34. Trust me.
Yeah, it will.
If you look at this is basically how a SID chip would look like if you mapped out all the pinouts on a SID chip. So every SID chip has 3 voices, and you can choose between square, triangle, and sawtooth and noise. And then each of them has pulse width, it's volt for octave tuning, and then you've got things like a whole bunch of other cool features like ring modulation. It's got LFOs. It's got, in this particular case, it's got the filter, low pass. I don't think the SID chip did bandpass and high pass, but I could be wrong. Maybe it did, unless it's got a separate filter in it. And yeah, pretty cool. So if you're into that Commodore 64 sound, and by the way, I don't know if you guys ever know, but if you actually do, like I've got the same thing as you, Andy. I've got the ALM SID Guts Deluxe module, and it does not sound at all like a you know, like a chip tuney thing. It can if you want it to, but it doesn't. You can actually, it can sound like a beautiful synthesizer voice.
Yeah, it's great.
And if you pipe it through an analog filter, and you know, away you go. Beautiful. Anyway, this is interesting. I'm just pausing on this particular photo because this thing ships with AmpSeq. Now I don't know if you guys have heard of AmpSeq. That's like an emulating SID chip. It's not a real SID chip. You can get real SID chips, of course, and this takes up the same, you know, pin out and everything as an actual real SID chip. These aren't bad. These AmpSeqs. They're digital. They're a digital emulation. Love the floppy disk. I've got an AmpSeq in my SID Guts Deluxe, and I've taken it out and I've put a real SID chip in instead. So because I actually wanted to hear what the difference was, and I really couldn't tell. I actually could not tell. I reckon if I oscilloscoped it up, I'd be able to see the difference. But for my ears, maybe my ears, like Darren was saying, we're getting old.
Was that what's in there? The ARM SID? It's not a real SID chip?
In this particular auction.
No, I mean in the actual SID Guts Deluxe. It comes with the ARM SID?
Well, they ship with nothing. So you can get it. You can have it shipping with nothing. You can get your own ARM SID. You can get ALM to ship it with the ARM SID.
I bought mine used. I don't know what's in it. I have to go look at it.
Yeah.
So.
This particular one in the auction, this original mint condition, Twisted Electrons, Therap SID Mark 1. The powerful desktop SID features the stock features of the Therap SID alongside an upgrade version. Yeah, it's an ARM SID chip in it. So this doesn't even have an original SID chip in it. And I guess if it had an original SID chip in it, that would make it a lot more valuable. Because SID chips now are failing in the world. They're failing because they were made 1982, 1983. That's when they made them. So what are we looking at? 41, 42-year-old chips, right? And starting to fail. Anyway, let's say hello to Chris, who's popped in to StreamYard. How are you, mate? You good?
G'day. Do you hear? Am I coming through loud and clear? I'm probably coming through too hot.
No, you're fine. Don't make it quieter.
Oh, good.
You're good. I thought you were a tiny bit quiet.
Everything is cool. Oh, that's good. I can boost it a bit. How's that?
Yeah, it's good. Good. You have a good night at what was your sister's or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was my my elder sister's birthday party. Yes, I've got two sisters. No more, I promise. Unfortunately, my mother's having a birthday on the 26th of January, so that's the next one. But that's fortunately on we're going to celebrate that on a Friday, so okay for streaming. Yeah, no,
safe for streaming.
Yeah. I think people may have noticed at the party that I was somewhat distracted. I'm a bit too transparent in my passions. No. Nobody's disowned me yet. I make sure I clean enough gutters and fix enough fences to remain in everyone's good books. Yeah. So how's everyone? Is no major disruptions this week? No one's had any bad news or anything like that, I hope? I'm doing all right.
I have, but you'll see. Watch the beginning of the show.
I'm
yeah, don't worry, man. It's fine.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, it's nice to have you here because you can enjoy that.
Oh, cheers.
The best part of the show is probably the Saturday Sonority part, anyway, isn't it?
Well, I didn't want to miss the speculation on 2024 synths, did I?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that now, actually. That's probably a great segue because we've got through all the segments. But before we do, I wanted to, because I don't want to forget to do this, I wanted to show, and this is mainly probably for Steve and Brooksy, who are waiting patiently for me to show you this. This is the bus board that I've got for my rack when I'm getting off my butt and making it. Let me just get the right camera. So this is the so you can see it's got there we go. So it's got nice capacitors.
Yeah, I like those ones.
Yeah. They're your power filtering there. So basically all of those pin headers are all filtered, right? And the good thing about these bus boards is there's a shite load of connections on them, and they're really easy to connect up to those mean well power supplies, and it tells you that, you know, if that's 5 volts, 12 volts negative, 12 volts positive, and ground. So you can't really fuck it up, to be fair. And it's screw it into your back of your case and Bob's your auntie. I will send you guys the link to where you get those from.
Is that a 4MS one? It looks like a 4MS
no.
brand.
This is a modular Synth-lab.com one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I'll go back to this overshot in a sec. Now, the other thing, we were joking about TeamU the other day, and I waited for Chris to come on because I knew if he wasn't on, I would show it next week. But he's on. And so one of the things I ordered on Team, I ordered some of those things, and I thought, it's a bit of a P155 take. I wanted to test them out to see if they're rigid. But they're basically, what they are is like a little micro AliExpress store. Really, that's really what they are. And you kind of, in a way, I feel like I'm exploiting these poor little Chinese businesses, but really they're making a fortune. Don't worry about it.
The businesses are not the workers.
That's true. I got this little electronics pack. I think I've told Chris about this already, but I just wanted to show you what was in there. So that didn't include the pin headers. That was a separate order. So you get breadboard or Vero boards, what do you want to call those things, right? There's actually some more in there. You got ICs, different size LEDs. So you got the smaller ones and the larger ones. Now everything in this box is through hole, not SMC. And I like mucking around with through hole because you can use breadboards, you can use Vero boards. These are all the resistors. Look how many resistors I've got, and they're all labeled, right? And so there's resistors. I'm gonna have to put some of the stuff somewhere. There's the LEDs. There's the chips. There's caps. All the different caps. Ceramic caps. You're gonna die when I tell you the price. You've got some DC barrel connectors. Sorry, I'm not doing this properly. You've got little trim pots. I was actually surprised to see the trim pots. You got a little speaker. Is that a speaker? Yeah, that's a little speaker. Yeah. You've got transistors and diodes, bags of diodes, and electrolytic caps. More Vero boards. Look at all the Vero boards I've got there, and that little beauty there is perfect for eurorack. That one right on the end there. So I'm actually quite happy with this. Now you're gonna die how much this cost me. This box, there's about 1,900 components in this box. If you're wondering, $28 Australian. $28. If I went to, Chris, this is mainly just for you and any other Aussie that's watching. If I went to Ultronics or J-Car and bought all that, how much do you reckon that would set me back?
About 60. Well, if you bought it trade, it'd be about $60, I reckon.
For all of those components? 1,900 components?
Well, see, the thing is you bought, when you get the resistors in bulk, they do come down in price quite a bit.
I was looking on their website earlier today, and I just thought, I'm just going to have a look, see how much a LED is, right?
Oh yeah, that's that'll kill it. Yeah,
30 cents for one LED, and there's like friggin' about 200 there.
I used to buy stuff at Radio Shack all the time, way overpriced. So.
Yeah. But it's the convenience, right? You just go in, you need that bit, and you walk out. Okay. Yeah. The other thing I was going to show you, but I don't actually have it physically here, is the I talked about it in Discord. The
nice one, Kent.
That
just is not going to have a.
Do you guys see that
rare chip in it?
Yeah.
You put new knobs on it.
No, down the other end.
No, it's yes. I know what he's doing.
Oh.
She snapped off. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Completely snapped off. So
how'd you do that?
I've taken the board out. I don't know. It literally just fell out. I've got it here somewhere.
Yeah, show us the other
It was
end.
an emotional recording session. He just was cranking that thing too much.
Yeah.
Oh no! I wasn't. I wasn't using it. It was literally. I was lying on the floor when I picked it up, and I thought, what the? And I think it just, I don't know, mechanically failed.
That only takes probably a wandering cable to yank it off.
Focus, you bastard. That is the. That's the bit that fell off.
Could you? Yeah. Ah.
Right. Obviously, I've taken.
Is there still a bit
I've
of black
taken
plastic
the knob off
inside?
of it, right? I've taken the knob off. Oh, focus. Sony, do better. Sony, focus. There you go. I've got the problem with sticky knobs on my BeatStep as well. BeatStep Pro, I should say. By the way, always put your screws in a little container when you're mucking around with stuff like this. There you go.
Hey, an instrument there.
So yeah, BeatStep Pro is. I'll have to wait for the. There's a in Discord that if anyone has broken their BeatStep Pro encoders, I've put a part number that I can confirm is the correct part number as a replacement. It's actually it's called an ALPS Alpine, and there's a whole bunch of letters and numbers, right? And it's a little 15mm shaft encoder with the proper specs is it's
detented
30 detents and 15,000 cycles. So it's the correct one, and yeah, I'll be ordering that through Mauser or whoever does it. I think it's Mauser. Yeah, there you go. So the Discord, by the way,
is one of those.
We talk about stuff in Discord all through the week. There's the link there if you haven't actually joined Discord. It was like, I don't know, $4 or something. It wasn't that much. $6. Yeah, Australian. Yeah. So yeah. It wasn't too bad.
The shipping will probably kill you though.
I mean, to do it, like, so everyone kind of freaks out at this sort of stuff, but it really isn't a hard job. It's seriously, I can't be bothered getting the circuit board out, but you literally just desolder about 5 solder points on the circuit board, and 2 of those solder points are actually mechanical, and the other 3 are the actual physical encoder connections. And you can use a solder wick or a solder sucker to do it, and then pull the broken encoder off and solder the new one back on. It's probably a 5-minute job, to be fair, and you're back up and running again. And while I'm at it, I'm going to get rid of all of these knobs that are sticky, and I'll replace them with something, I don't know, maybe I'll get it from Temu. I don't know yet.
Were only some of the knobs sticky? Are they slowly changing?
They're all sticky, yeah. They're yucky.
They're all sticky, yeah.
I don't know. I've never actually liked the feel of them either. That sort of, they just kind of feel a little sharp. I much prefer sort of, yeah.
Yeah, if they're continuously around, they get a bit more of a sort of a feel. Yeah, I know what you mean, Rant. So I agree. It would be different.
It's nice to have a grip on them though, so you can roll your hand on it, if you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we talk about...
Just going to flash this for Brett Lemmings. Brett Lemmings has just said he's picked up one of these. This has just come out of my rack to make room for other things. In fact, I've taken...
Oh, that's the voltage mixer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Portamento and the voltage. The voltage mixer is quite funky, actually, for mixing different LFOs and envelopes together if you're that way inclined. But
the Portamento is a bit shite, though.
The Portamento is dreadful. Actually, I was going to say that it does nothing, everything.
Yeah.
So it's there might be some other way you can deal with it.
Watch my video. There's a pro tip in my video on how to fix it. Yep.
Ooh.
So is that the bad copy, or do you think the original was?
No, it's the original's like that as well.
The original was like that too. Yeah.
Pretty sure Alex Ball told me as well, and it's pretty decent knowledge there. Okay, why don't we get into the topic, which is what do you guys think is going to come out this year? Now, this could be a little bit of pre-knowledge. I'm fine with that. We can talk about something that that's possibly going to come out this year, or this could be you just hope something's going to come out this year from insert your favorite manufacturer. So I'll start with one that I hope will come out, and I kind of mentioned it the other day. I actually really, really want Korg to do stuff like this, the SQ1, in a Eurorack format. And don't skimp on the functionality. Just redesign that in a Eurorack format. Like, we could probably, Chris and I could probably do this in our little sort of muck arounds and pull all this stuff apart and reconfigure it for Eurorack format. Yes, we could do that, but that's not what we're talking about. We actually want Korg to make it and sell it as a product. So that's one, and I think that'll be a no-brainer for them. And the other one is that I would like to see Korg make modular versions of some of their oscillators and filters, like the MS20, the MS1. Is it MS10, MS1? Which one is it? MS10.
MS10.
So that sort of stuff would be nice, and do it before your competitors that start with B, because they've already made one of your products.
Exactly.
So do that.
They've already started to make the 2600 components as separate modules, haven't they? So there's the oscillators, there's the is there a filter and also the envelope generators? Is that right?
No, there's only the oscillator at the moment.
Only the
I've got
oscillator
two.
so far.
Yeah, it's sitting over there. But I actually want Korg to make their own gear. Like, I want them to put like MS20 oscillators, MS20 filters, because they're kind of unique. And even
I agree with
even
you.
a module that has the because they use hertz per, is it hertz per what do you call it?
Hertz
Not
per volt.
Hertz per volt, yeah.
Hertz per
So
volt.
have a hertz per volt module as well, so that you can literally like get your, whether you've got an MS20 mini or a fully fledged MS20 sitting around, you can literally interface it with your MS20, so you could have your Eurorack interfacing with it. Now, I know there's hertz per volt stuff out there. I think Dopefer make one already, but make Korg one, because that was Korg's thing. So I think that'd be cool. So I would like to see Korg. I'd like to see Korg do more of that sort of stuff. And so that's parking Korg aside. Yamaha, you guys have been really quiet on the synthesizer side of things. I know you've released your workstation / your montage stuff, but really, other than that, it's been dead quiet. And I actually like Yamaha stuff. I really, really do. So I would like to see something competing with, Roland have put out a decent amount of synths in the last few years, quite a lot actually, and some of the other companies as well. So and Korg as well. I would just like to see Yamaha just bring out some more products. I mean, really, the rephase stuff was kind of their last real go at this, wasn't it? When you think about it, and they were really cool, those little rephase things. I got one of them. So that's me. I'm done. I'm picking on Korg and Yamaha in a good way, positive way, but I'd like to see those two companies produce some stuff. Brooksy's next. Oh, hey. Go, Brooksy.
I know we've been saying this for years and years and years and years, but now that they've got lots and lots of experience of developing other people's synths under their belt, I really would like to see Behringer release another proper Behringer synth, their own one. I mean, I know that they've got the Deep Minds, and I know that they've got the Neutron and the Proton. Is that what it's going to be called? But it would be nice to see a completely new Behringer synth. They've got the technology and the wherewithal to do it. I mean, the stuff that they've been throwing out, I know that people very much malign the things which are direct clones of other people's products, like the Maths and the Batumi and other such things. I'm very uncomfortable with that. But they can do their own things perfectly well. I mean, interestingly enough, their new oscillator, the Victor oscillator, which is, okay, it's based on the Prophet VS, but there isn't another thing out there that does the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
that's
purely
unique.
theirs, and they're going to sell shed loads of them. So let's have something that's purely a Behringer synth, because I think that people would be grateful for it. They go, oh, good, about time too. That's what I hope to see in. I don't think it'll come out next year, but I'd like to see them at least announce something like that. I know they've got a whole backlog of things which they've been working on. The PPG. I mean, now that the UBX8 is or UBX-A is out, maybe their PPG, maybe their CS80 thing or whatever. But again, it's rehashing old stuff. Let's have something new.
Here.
Definitely. I like some of those. And I'm going to try and see if I can pop up some of the chat comments as we go as well, because there's been some good ones. So don't worry, I've read some of your chats. Who wants to go next, by the way? Ian, you're muted. Do you want to go? We'll put you up, mate, because you were talking and
sorry. Take a drink, everybody. I'd like to see more MIDI 2.0 integration. We've only had one keyboard up so far, and we want to see more of that sort of stuff. I think, to be fair, I think it's going to come in dribs and drabs, that sort of stuff. But and I'd like to see implemented, in a really good way. So we don't have to faff around so much with MIDI implementation anyway. The other thing I'd really like to see is I would like to see more of the teenage engineering KO2 pocket operator type things, but that are really, really reliable. I think that's the way that teenage engineer are probably going to go. But apart from that, back to your thing about Korg, I would love to see what you said about Korg. I have to say I can't see them doing it because I don't think they're listening. But maybe the other thing is I actually would like to see that Korg string thing that they launched at Super Boot last year.
Oh yeah,
that was the most interesting thing from Korg that I've seen in a very, very long time.
That I think was.
Now I know it was early. It was early doors.
Yeah.
It was probably next year, 2025, rather than 2024. But that was the most exciting thing I've seen from Korg in a very long time. So I'd like to see that. But that's my 10 penneth. I can't think of anything else that really comes to mind that I really want to see. If I like it, I'm going to want to buy it. So that's. I want to have a year where I don't spend so much money on bloody keyboards. Well, not keyboards, but little boxes.
I mean, I could have gone through just about every major manufacturer and said something about them, but I just picked a couple. Darren, you got some ideas, some predictions?
Well, I won't say predictions. I'll go with Akai. I'd like them to come out with a Force 2, which is sort of, because obviously with the Push 3 now being sort of quite, a bigger sort of standalone, which is a really cool idea. I'd like them to come out with a Force 2 and concentrate on getting that even better than it is now. And something that they probably won't do, but I would like to see the AP64 have some sort of great firmware that'll link their hardware with it rather than it being make sort of stuff that's at the moment they seem to have controllers and things that work with Ableton, and then their sort of stuff's an afterthought for afterwards. I'd rather it do the other way around, so it works with all their stuff and they get a nice sort of palette of stuff that goes together and works together with their Akai own instruments, and then it can still be worked with Ableton rather than the other way around. It's Ableton and then the Akai standalone bits on to the side. I'd like to see it the other way around. I know that probably won't happen, but yeah, probably a Force 2 and try to make it because they've done a MPC2 live, MPC1, updated the MPC1 still.
To be fair though, the MPC2 live, MPC Live 2 is really not much different to the MPC Live 1. It's very,
no, that's what I mean.
little.
That's what they've just beefed it up inside. Basically, I'd like them to see it. Just do that to the Force, but make it that bit. Well, like we always say, better. Because I don't want to be switching to a Push 3 now. I've got used to a Force. But if they're not going to start doing anything with the Force and just sort of let it, try to squeeze more out of something that's starting to show its age.
Some weird noises coming through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. It's not. I don't think it's me.
It's been sort of getting worse and worse slowly.
Is it you?
I'm going
Chris,
to mute. Just tell me whether it's.
I thought it might.
Tell me whether it's me.
How do I sound? Ooh.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah,
Might be
gone.
Brooksy.
I can't hear it. Yeah.
Might be you, fella.
Yeah. Oh, and a mirror function.
I've
I want to do a mirror
unmuted.
function, so I've got two controllers.
Yeah, well, that I think they should be able to handle that within the current firmware of Force, Darren. I honestly
I don't know why they can't. Yeah, so
Yeah.
do it. If you know any Akai people, tell them. It's only for me, but I'm sure it'll. A lot of people will quite like that.
Yeah. All right, who wants to go next? Please, Arturia, make a new keyboard MIDI
Is it still
controller with
crackling?
all the implements of BeatStep Pro and KeyStep Pro in all-in-one controller. There you go. Well done, Carl. That's not a bad idea at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. They have been bringing out some stuff recently, Arturia.
The whole Force 2 thing, that was expected kind of a long time ago, but since they've kind of dumped the product, seems there's no major updates for a while. MPC gets all the love because of the form factor and the reputation and all the fanboys, MPC fanboys. I don't see Force 2 coming out, unfortunately. I wish it would, but I don't think it will.
You know what though, Andy? It's actually kind of weird. Like we have, you know, in Australia and in the US and the UK, we, you know, electronic musicians would probably have a different sort of world to like the beat makers, like the R&B, those sort of people. You know, the house, the rappers, and that they have a different world. And I actually watch a few YouTube channels where they wouldn't listen to my music if you paid them. Like it's really not in their genre.
Sure.
It's not, yeah. But they're using Akai Force like it's like an absolute miracle machine. Like better than the MPC. You know, they might have an MPC.
Well, yeah, they're boom bap guys using Force for sure. Yeah. So
yeah, and they're basically, you know, this whole sample world is massive. I never really understood it, and I guess there's probably a massive market in it too. So if you've got a whole bunch of synths and you're good at creating, you know, loops and samples and stuff, like you can make a bit of money on the side, because these people are buying sample packs and they're just loading them into their Akai Force, or they're loading them into their MPCs, and they're sitting there all day long and they're just chopping them up and making beats out of them, and they're turning them into albums or live streams on YouTube or whatever. So I just thought I'd pop that in because I kind of feel like that's where that product line is.
The problem with the Force is it took them like 2 years to even get it to where it was supposed to be when it came out.
Oh yeah,
right? It was
slow.
It was like the redheaded stepchild of Akai, and it was basically it's like, well, we have this cool thing, but we're not too sure about it yet. And then they kept doing MPC this, MPC that. Oh, we'll finally get the upgraded synth instruments, and then they finally had that pack that was like 2 Christmases ago that they blew out for like $200, which is like the FM pack, FM synth, and piano, and a few other things that were quite nice actually. I got that deal, but I don't use the Force that much because it's so menu divey. But as a control surface, it's kind of a perfect thing, because I don't know if you guys remember Nick Trakakis. He was working for Akai for a while back in 2020, and he really leveraged the 64 pads to do amazing, like as a full-on instrument, not just hitting beats and firing off little things here and there. He laid it out so it's a proper instrument, and you learn it and you perform it, and it's really impressive. He still does live streams to this day on YouTube with his thing. He calls it trick style. But that's kind of what was the cool thing about the Force, is it with all those pads at your disposal, once you've mapped it all out, it's a proper instrument with all the expression. I mean, it's not MPE, but it has a lot of the expression you would generally need.
But they could make it MPE.
When you watch a guy like
Seriously.
that, you know,
just software, isn't
they could, yeah.
Yeah, it's just software.
Well, no, the
Well, they
pads
got
themselves, I don't think the triggers are able to do that.
On the Force, they definitely got velocity. They've definitely got.
They have aftertouch on it, but
No,
it's not.
I'm pretty sure
fast.
I'm pretty sure those pads on that Force are pretty. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. Yeah.
Well, this is why we want the Force too.
What else do you think, though, Andy? Like, I mean, you're across a lot of those sort of gadgety sort of stuff. I know that's not. You know, I don't want that to be the thing that defines you, because it's not. But
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
you
it's
know,
fine.
it's just one of your little loves. You know?
Well, like Machina Plus would generally need a new one at some point, because quad-core add-on processor. I get a lot out of it, but I also had to figure out a workflow for it to not peg the CPU. If you watch some of my old stuff for hardware jams, you can actually see the CPU meter blinking because I'm pegging it. It's going beyond 100%. It's like bing, 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 and a couple times I had to redo the whole video because it crashed. So I had to learn. If you use Machina as a Mark III hooked to the computer, then you can load it up with all the stuff in the world, like effects upon effects upon effects. But you have to get really smart using a device like that where it's underpowered in the box. So you have to do like effects busing instead of individual effects per sound layer, and you have to do some other things like that, and don't overload everything with processing, because especially like Raum, that really fancy reverb, that thing will kill your mix. If you throw a bunch of Raums in there, it'll just like it pegs, right? It sounds beautiful, but you got to be careful with it. So a new Machina Plus would be nice, just with the not so much changing too much about the interface, other than better CPU performance, so you could really transition from the computer side to the mobile side back and forth without having to rework your whole system of how you stack things, because it gets bogged. That was the biggest nasty thing about it, is it gets bogged down real fast if you're not careful. So that would be something that I would think would come up. I think it did pretty well for a while for Native Instruments, but I'm not sure. But gadget-wise, most of the gadgets these days, other than the little portable stuff that Behringer's doing and Korg's doing, most of the gadgety stuff's on modular, really, seems like. All the weird quirky stuff. So looking forward to more of that coming out, because that's always fun. But yeah, a lot of the cool little gadgets, like the thing on today's guest, Name That Synth. I've never seen one of those in person.
Oh, the Moog lip, yeah.
It sounded pretty good, but it obviously didn't sell very well because you never hear about them. And it's not because it's bad.
I'm pretty sure we talked about them on the show when they came out.
I'm sure it comes up, but I mean, I barely even know the name of it. I've heard of it before, but that's
you don't see.
They've got a new cool. They've got another cool synth. They do some MIDI stuff,
videos.
And they've got a cool little synth.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun little stuff like that out there, but they just don't get they don't have enough legs to really get out to everybody and get the attention. Probably marketing problems.
Ranzee's fell off. Oh no, he's still there.
Yeah, he went to go look for his meat blip.
I'm just booting up the Force because I wanted to check something on it.
Well, I thought he said he's beating it up.
So
Use the Force, Luke.
Force firmware 3.3 is what I'm running at the moment, which is, I believe, the latest.
One of the cool things about the Force is also one of the things people don't like about it is the pads are skinny, right?
Yeah.
But they had to do that to stack them, but they're still wide enough to do two-finger tapping to do performance. So they actually are very useful, but at first glance, people go, oh, these pads are so tiny. What am I going to do with these? It's like, if it's two fingers still, you're perfectly fine, But the diehard square pad guys are,
I kind of feel like Korg have got so much innovation that, Steve's mentioned here, Korg gadgets as real hardware. There's so many ideas in those Korg gadgets that they could actually bring out as hardware. That's a really good suggestion.
Well, I think in general that kind of raises. I don't want to interject, but I might as well segue to what my thought was. One of my thoughts was, which was that I'd like to see more Raspberry Pi development from Korg. They've started with their platform when we haven't really seen anything much. They seem to be treading water. We want to see some more stuff coming from them.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better if they did what Roland did and just run their own DSP chip? Because you don't really want to rely on another person's platform, which is completely independent of your company.
Yeah, I mean, if it's cheaper, absolutely. If it can produce more affordable products, but I mean, there's probably a good reason why they went Raspberry Pi, but you could be right. That might be an economic case that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, the chip shortage to me might be the reason, Chris.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is that.
Well, I will say I'd like to see a desktop version of the Wave State. I was nearly going to buy a full Wave State, but I just can't take the space. So
I am absolutely. I'm actually like getting gas over the Wave State. It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
And also I'm getting gas over the SE version, which is stupid because we all know that it's got exactly the same engine in it as the little one does.
But it's okay, yeah.
But
I would like to see. I'd like to see it be more of a DW8000, which they sort of pretended it was. It's nothing like a DW8000.
Well, I mean, it misses some analog hardware in it for it to be.
That was the mod wave, right?
I mean,
mod wave.
Yeah.
We're getting confused between the mod.
Sorry, yes,
and
I
the
did
wave
get on
state.
Yeah, mod wave.
So the Wave State is
Because they had the
wave
DWGS
sequencing
waveforms in there.
one,
Yeah.
That's
The Wave State is the one that I'm kind of salivating over because I've actually seen some pretty big musicians use the current Wave State, right? Not the old one. Wave State 2, we'll call it, right?
That too. Yeah.
And they've used it in a way which kind of blew my mind. Like, so I'll mention like Jean-Michel Jarre, for example. We all know that at the moment when he does his live concerts, he's got a System 8, which a lot of people get kind of like, what? You got a System 8? That doesn't have aftertouch. What are you doing? You know, it literally is such a brilliant synth. It doesn't go out of tune. It sounds so analog. It has Jupiters and Junos and JX3Ps in there if you want. But even the System 8 engine itself is incredible. And the other synth that he recently used in, I think a Christmas or New Year's or Christmas Eve concert or something, he had a Wave State, the new SE. He had a Wave State SE Platinum version, and he was switching to that quite a lot. So he had like piano sounds, and they sounded really, really good. Like it just, he was going from like sort of Rhodes electric pianos to proper, acoustic type piano sounds, and then he was running these kind of weird sampley sort of things that was granulary sort of on it as well, which was really, really cool. And then he would switch to the System 8, and the two just work so well together. Like you had that, I mean, it's just a digital world that he's working in, but I mean they really kind of sounded quite retro. And
but isn't he also MIDIing those to other things, so it could be playing other things at the same time?
Well, so this is the thing. So yes and no. So he's got in his recent concert only a few weeks ago, he had some gear behind him. So he had like three tables. It's like a U shape. So he had the System 8 and some cymbals and stuff at the front, and then the Wave State was on his left, and then behind him was the MIDI stuff, and the MIDI stuff was where he was doing all the Fairlighty sample launching, all the sort of backing tracks, and playing like long samples, that would literally be synced to the whole track that he's playing, like drum beats and things like that, and that was all done behind him. So he had stuff there, but he was literally using the Wave State inside the Wave State, like it was actually the Wave State coming out, which impressed me. And it's not the only one. There was a few other people that I saw use the Wave State last year in concert, and there was one local band here in Perth that used it, and it sounded amazing. And I just thought to myself, I never ever, you just don't put those two things together, like a little Raspberry Pi synth, that Korg has made, and someone's used it on stage, and it sounded incredible. I was just really, really, really impressed. But anyway, so to go on segue for that. But now that you mentioned that, Chris, salivated.
I hit the button. Yes, I hit someone's button. Yes.
Did Jar have the Teenage Engineering tables at his show?
No.
All of his gears on TE tables?
Nah, he didn't. I was trying to check out some of the MIDI stuff he had at the back. Oh, Steve's showing his Wave State.
Yeah.
Let's go to... Hold it there, Steve. I'll go full screen to you so we can all see it.
Hello.
I mean, that's the baby, right? But the guts in that is so capable. Yeah, and at the moment they're actually really cheap too. You can pick them up really cheap.
That doesn't help with the GAS, does it, Rance?
It does not help with the GAS. No.
Not helping at
That
all.
whole series is cool. The Op 6 is great. I mean, I like the whole series.
Op 6 is excellent. Yeah, that's the one I get.
Oh, okay. So that noise is you, Steve.
Coming from
That weird noise. Yeah, you're Daleki.
Weird noise.
Yeah, you're coming through like super distorted
like
and a bit crushed.
Henrik Dalek mode.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that for
Just
6 months to a year.
just leave it and reconnect and see if it fixes it. That usually does the job. And I'll add you back in. Because Steve will no doubt want to have his predictions. Yeah.
Excuse me.
We haven't really talked about Roland, have we? But someone in chat mentioned that they'd like to see a System 16.
I'd like to see Arturia Super Freak. That'd be fun.
You know what? I've never run out of voices on the System 8. So this whole thing about having your 16 voices, one of the things with the DeepMind 12 is I've never ever really used all 12 voices unless I've layered or done some special stuff with it. But I've never really. No, it's not back in yet. So I don't know. Like the fact that they haven't brought a System 16, they would have done it by now.
That's when you eat it up.
Yeah. Well, they're Phantom stuff. You can do like all that System 16 stuff that you would dream about doing on their Phantoms. Their Phantom stuff is pretty bloody good. Not gonna lie. Let's try your mic now, Steve.
Does that sound any better?
Oh, it sounds beautiful. Hey, do you want to have a crack?
Lovely.
I think it's your turn, isn't it? There we go.
Oh, yeah. I'm in agreement with Andy. I think I think the DeepMind 12 with that new sort of like polyphonic aftertouch keyboard would be great if they did something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe a DeepMind 12 with a Pro VS engine in it. Have a bit of a hybrid thing happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got got the knowledge now, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Korg are bringing out a polyphonic aftertouch keyboard controller this year, aren't they, as well? I think.
Yeah, that is it already out? It's already out, isn't it?
It's already out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's I'm just looking for it now.
We showed it on the show a few months back.
Yeah.
So while he's checking that out, so what sort of things would you like to see come out this year?
Yeah, I don't know. Something from Behringer again would be great, or something other than the DeepMind 12, because I think that other than the EBXA, that which was like a clone, wasn't it? So something of their own along the lines of the DeepMind 12 would be good, I think. Yeah.
It's the Key Stage is the call.
Key Stage, that's it.
Keyboard.
Key Stage 61.
Yeah, so available now, although here in the UK, you can't get it till the end of January.
Does it has the ribbon on it too, doesn't it? Does it have the ribbon on it?
Can't see a ribbon on it. I'm just looking at the features. I can't remember. I thought there was isn't there a crap picture?
Where's Chris been moved?
No, there's
there we go. Better.
Yeah, no, there's no ribbon.
It's weird because when I lean over here, I'm actually leaning right, but I'm watching myself and I'm moving to the left, but it's actually to the right because it's my brain is having weirdness right now.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like reversing caravans.
I feel like Akai are bound to be bringing something new out this year, because it's been that their whole development of the MPC and the Force and all that sort of stuff hasn't really been a lot of work for them this last couple of years. They've just been adding a bit of stuff here and a bit of stuff there, and when you think about it, it's not like compared to like 2017 when they first brought that new that whole new Akai MPC range out. It was massive, right? But I kind of feel like there'll be some new stuff from them. I don't know about the Moog side though. A lot of people were thinking that they might do something with Moog. Maybe they might. I don't know. I got the impression they're kind of leaving them to still do their thing in the US, and what's going to happen is they're going to try and clean up their manufacturing side of things so that they can still punch out Moog products, but it may be not done in the US anymore. I don't know. That was the sort of impression I got.
Well, being part of In Music, they'll probably lose some of the innovation, unfortunately. So
yeah,
because that's what happened to Akai, basically.
They lost the
right?
engineers.
So.
They would have lost the engineers. That's the main point, right? But even that, what's that guy?
All those guys, they all lost their stuff.
What's that guy that left? He left a few years ago, anyway. Before, what's his name? The Moog guy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The black hair.
Yeah. That's up my tongue. I forgot his name.
Somebody in the chat will tell us.
He was. Who you guys know who we're talking about? I know you guys. Someone will say it. But he was really kind of quite innovative around that sort of subsequent sub 37. Amos.
That's it. Yeah,
Amos.
Yeah.
I had a chat with him at NAMM 2020.
So where is he now?
He's still barely at the company. I don't know.
Be interested to know where he is now.
I think in 2020 he was still barely with Moog, but on his way out.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember if I spoke to him or if I got an email from him about something. But anyway, this was around the time that I purchased my sub 37. So this is a while ago now. This is probably like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And I was literally having just a really like a brief conversation with him about how he made a lot of the patches in that synth. He actually wrote them himself, and they're insanely good. So he's so really, really clever. That guy.
He is, yeah. We're talking over pizza at Perfect Circuit. There was a special event at Perfect Circuit. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I also had some dealings with Amos in the sub fatty era. That was very early on. So at that point in time, it was not really revealed that he was a creative force behind it. He was presented as a technical, the firmware guy.
Yep.
Which is interesting how it, what came out later. He was a lot more involved than people were giving.
Well, he used to do a lot of fun, creative videos for them. If you remember going back on YouTube, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was, he used to do a lot of videos for them.
Yeah, I think he. I don't know if this is actually true. I'm just speculating, but there was one video, one of the last videos. He is an interview with Amos where he revealed something about the original Sub Fatty in terms of the firmware in it being. Oh, you just need to. We do actually have that in the firmware for the Sub Fatty. And then it was embarrassing for Moog because they didn't release it to the Sub Fatty. It was certainly meant to be for the Sub. I always wondered whether that was related to him leaving. He may not have been particularly on board with that sort of marketing, sort of ethics thing. I don't know. Just speculation.
Maybe that was his way of sticking a knife in.
No, but if it wasn't for the little fatty, well, I mean, you could probably draw a long bow. You could say if it wasn't for the mini Moog, if it wasn't for the modular, no. Let's sort of put a knife there. Little Fatty, this whole sort of era that they had with the Fatty series, right? So Little Fatty, then they brought the Sub Fatty out, then the Sub 37 came out, then the subsequent 37 came out. That's kind of like there's a nice little wrap around that. I personally still think the Sub 37 was the best out of that, but Probably because it's more capable. But I still love my little. I've got a slim fatty, which is like a rack version of the little fatty without the keyboard. I love that little thing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that was a nice little sort of hot period that Moog probably cashed in. I reckon they would have sold a lot of sub fatties. Maybe little fatties.
Still see them on stage a lot.
Yeah. They were aggressive, those little sub fatties. They were really aggressive. And the sub 37 has exactly the same. People will argue, oh, it's different. It has pretty much exactly the same sound as a sub 30, so you can get the sounds, and you just get
slightly
more
different.
Yeah,
you just get into a slightly more distortion zones and overdrive zones on the sub 30.
Yeah. But yeah, Slim Fatty is an oxymoron. It sure is.
It certainly was. Yeah. It was an ironic title.
Great little name. Great little name. Do you remember when you got your Moog gear though? The packaging and the whole brand, I guess, was kind of like kind of interesting. Like I got, I think it was it the Slim Fatty or the Sub? It might have been the Sub 37 when I got that. It's a massive box. Yeah, it was the Sub 37, and in the box was all this artwork, like in the cardboard. It was like insane.
Yeah.
So that when you think
about
it,
with
the box itself, you wouldn't throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the one where it's like a whole, like it's almost like Where's Wally? This one's I'm thinking of, where it's like it's sort of like an artist's representation of what a Moog factory would look like if it was, done by an artist who does those really intricate.
I can't remember what it was. It might have been that. And then they had the manual was this really, it was like an old newspaper. It was like a massive, huge fold-out thing. It's huge.
Okay.
And I just thought, like, that's innovation because no one else was doing that. So it wasn't just about. I reckon they tried some really good stuff. It wasn't just about the synth and the sound and the heritage. They had some I reckon some pretty cool marketing and packaging and industrial design.
Yeah, their little patch book that they gave away at, I think I picked one up at Synthfest. That little patch book was really, really cool. And from a marketing point of view, it looked really, really good. And it had all these just little patches you could do.
I had a Moog sticker on my old car, and when I got rid of the car, it went with it. I should have ripped it back off.
I've got an original Moog badge from 1970, or whatever it is.
Is it crusty or is it in good nick?
No. It's about this sort of size.
Oh, one of those badges.
Just says, okay. Yeah, just says listen to Moog or Moog.
Fair enough.
I'll always call him Moog because that's how I grew up. And Bob at the time didn't mind because it was always, my name is Moog, but the company was Moog.
I think we all called them. Anyway. I think we all called them Moog at some early point, right?
Yeah.
There's been so.
I'm sure he didn't care what you said as long as you gave him money. So
exactly, yeah.
buy his products, and there you go.
Well, it's hard to believe, but he passed away in 2005, if I remember rightly. That was when he left.
Wow.
And that's a while ago now. Like we're getting close to 20 years ago. It's 18 years ago. No, 17 years ago. Yeah. Wow. So yeah. Anyway, that was a good fun having some predictions. I was hoping someone might have had a little bit of inside knowledge and maybe they could sort of break an NDA. We didn't have that.
Yeah. Well, I have no knowledge, so I don't know. Like I say, Korg have stopped taking my phone calls.
I know Chris is bringing a modular out.
I was going to say, I might have the insight on a few things one modular developer might be cooking for this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to keep that one under wraps for now.
Yeah. There's been some really, really good.
You'll hear it first.
Comments in chat as well. Like some people are saying that they want a Blofeld 2. Kev Human said that. Yamaha make a new sequencer. You know what I find interesting is how sequencers still sell, right? When there's the DAW. And you think about it, the DAW is quite a capable sequencer. Yet we are still selling BeatStep Pros and SQ64s and Eurorack.
Well, even the little SQ1 you brought up earlier. I'm so glad they made that because it's really fun and easy to use and cheap.
That's a great little sequencer. I think it's about getting away from computers, though, isn't it?
Oh,
really?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the BeatStep Pro, for me, the BeatStep Pro is probably, it wins in terms of simplicity and immediacy. It really was a very, very clever product but I still think Arturia cut their teeth in the original BeatStep, which I feel was a little bit of a fail. But the Pro was definitely a winner.
Do you know what I'd really love in the BeatStep Pro?
Yeah. What would you like?
Who's going? Andy or Andy?
Brooksy.
Right.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I really wish there was a metronome beep.
Yeah, they put that on the Keystep Pro.
That is annoying.
Yeah, I really wish there was a metronome beep.
That's what I really like about the drum machine, the drum brute impact.
You have to use one of your drum tracks.
You do. You have to put in a bass drum whether you want it or not. Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah,
right, okay,
Keystep Pro has that. Plus, you get an extra track, so that's why I like the Keystep Pro better. Although
they still dance the floor on the floor. Yeah. Don't worry about that.
One thing about the old BeatStep, if you guys have one, they're not useless because they're actually decent little MIDI controllers, and also do Bluetooth. So guys are actually using them with like Loopy HD on the iPad, and actually firing off loops with those pads and controlling the knobs and stuff for the volume controls and stuff. So they're useful as other things, not just for the beats.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you guys want to hear a bit of a jam? I don't mind. I can do it next week if you want.
No.
Yeah, do it.
Go for it.
Hit us.
Okay.
Hit us with a jam.
Like that comic said, we all make beats, right? So.
Yeah.
I don't know how good I'm going to be at like doing live camera changing and stuff like that. So we'll try. What I might do first though is this is kind of a cool little thing. So I'm going to start off with showing you a little trick with the Metropolis and using the Planner 2 as a little sort of controller to get some interesting nuances with the suite. I'll explain it as we head over there, but let me see, is the better camera angle this one? Yeah, we'll go with this camera angle. So there's the Metropolis there, not the Metropolix. This is the original one, the Metropolis, which, by the way, is actually based on the 182 from Roland System 100. It's actually a 185, technically. So what I'm going to do is I'll start the sequence off, and you'll hear, what will you hear? I think you'll hear the TR8. I'll introduce you to everything with the mic. I'll leave the mic running so you can hear me. Right, so these are the Behringer 2500 modules that you can hear, and it's going through the C legs to give you that delay effect, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over there, and I'm going to not be near the mic so you won't be able to hear me talk, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. The Planner 2, which is the little joystick thing next to it, I'm going to get that to control the stages part of the sequencer. So with the stages part, I can actually set the CV input, which is CVB, to limit how many stages, whether it's 1 or 2 or 8 steps in the sequence, and I can control that sort of with a recorded bit of CV. You watch this, I'll show you. Oh, and I'll do ratcheting too. don't know if you could hear me. It was probably a bit quiet, right? But I was saying that I've just recorded the stages from CV control. So you can see from left to right, you can see the steps of the sequence of restarting and going a bit longer and going a bit shorter. And I'm getting a different sort of nuance in the sequence now. Pretty cool. We're going to get a bit sick of that sound, so we'll start introducing some more sounds now. Alright, what we got over here, you guys should be familiar with this. I played this last week. So this is just a 182, and at the moment it's the square wave you can hear. Yes, we love square waves, don't we, Brooksy? Alright, now I'm going to bring in the sawtooth wave, which you can see on the... So there's two 110 modules, right? One's the square wave, one's the sawtooth. This is the sawtooth, this is the square. The square wave is going through Juno 106 chorus. That's why you're getting that nice chorus sound. And I can muck around with the envelope generator here, right? Let's bring in the sawtooth. All right, now what else can we do? Let's bring that other sound
Tune
back in. Tune it, yeah, it's supposed to be out of tune.
Oh, sorry.
Good answer.
Alright, now we'll get some interesting sounds. I'm going to bring the Roland SEO2 in next. I should have a camera angle here. There we go. We've got sounds now. And we're going to use the EXT box because this is actually an analog filter control, not a digital one like it's on here. As you build and build and build, let's keep going. We've got some samples to go now. Coming out of Ableton. That'll do for a bit. A bit of fun.
It's really good.
Just a couple of things mucking around and yeah, having some fun with samples. What I show you is that you probably would have heard a couple of different voices going on at the same time, and what it was the same recording, but one of them I'd sent through the Arturia vocoder V, which is in Ableton. I'll get that up for you guys so you can see. Is it Command Option Plus? Yes, it is. So it's called Edison Wave. Basically, it's my voice. I've read out this Edison thing.
Speech.
Yeah, and one of it's going through the vocoder, and then I've got the vocoder going out through my ES8, and it's going into a gated VCA. Now, if I can isolate everything, we should be able to hear that. I'll just get everything off. I'll turn the TR8S off. Let's see if I can isolate all this stuff. Now, which one's going to the vocoder? It's that one. Okay, we want to cancel that. And we want to cancel the MX1. We don't want to hear that. So we're just, all we're hearing now will just be the vocoder. Alright, so that's that. And that's just a gated, what I'm using to do the gating is the Varigate. So you just literally program your sequence into your Varigate, send that into a VCA, and then put some delay on it. Then the other thing that I did was I used the same sample, but this time I'm using a plugin in Ableton called, where is it? Over here, Shaperbox. And this is on the pitch. It's on a pitch setting, and so it's going down and up and down and up and down and up. Okay, and so and then it's an auto pan happening on that. So this is all done in your DAW, and this is what this sounds like.
Yes, are involved in all electronic music synthesizers. The first is that acoustic waveforms can be generated and modified purely by Electro.
So that is literally my voice. So if I turn off Shaperbox, and we'll also turn off that synth voice there too.
Yes, are involved in all electronic music synthesizers. The first is that acoustic waveforms can be generated and modified purely by electronic means.
So it did not sound at all like me, did it? When I sort of mangled it.
Not when you mangle it, and also
so
chorusing. And
what I wanted to do is I just wanted to create a distraction, because one thing when you're using sequences, they can get quite monotonous, right? So that's why I did the trick with the stages, with the Metropolis, to try and make the sequence do more than just play loopy of the same sound. I deliberately wanted the 182 to loop through 3, because 3 steps, we kind of have trouble keeping up with what's happening every 3 steps when you've got a 4-bar loop. So it's that mathematical thing where it kind of marries back on the 12th beat. So you get that. We all know that. It's an old trick, right? So that's why the bass line was doing that. Now, if I wanted to, I have MIDI connected to that, so I could transpose that whole 182 if I wanted to. And I could literally just use the DAW to the transposing as well. So in fact, that could be where I want to go with it. But yeah, anyway, the only thing that I thought was kind of a bit naff was the TR8S drumming. I thought it was just kind of a bit monotonous, but you know, a bit more programming into drums. It's my downfall. I know that's my problem, but I'm a lazy. I'm more into synths than drums.
Maybe I should do more videos on drum programming, seeing as I don't know, I'm interested in that area. I haven't done any real drum programming videos. I just realised, and I thought, hang on a second. Food for thought. I'll file that one away.
I mean, it's surprising when you can get away with the drums. Look at Electro. A lot of Electro music, the drum beats are very simple. but they work with the music. So
yeah. There was one other thing I forgot to mention about in this whole little jam, and that is that there was this kind of, every now and then you hear this boo-boo sound. You probably would have heard that, right? That was the Novation peak, and I just had that just on a repeat sort of thing, and that was like a G, C, F, C repeating itself and over quite a long sort of loop, and it was kind of one was within the beat and one was kind of off beat, so it kind of pops out and then you're hearing it again. And obviously the SEO2 was just played live, so you just ad-lib that. But yeah, I don't know, bit of fun.
It's good.
Don't know where it's going to go. Probably in the bin.
Get it recorded.
Cool. It only goes in the bin if you find something better to replace it to put on the desk. That's my rule. It's like, oh, you fell in the bin. Must meant to be there.
Hope it's not family members there, Chris.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I hope it's not family members that you're talking about.
No. The door's closed, isn't it? Oh, good.
The deputy head at the school I used to work at, on his desk, he had 3 trays. And they were labelled today, tomorrow, and too hard. And the too hard tray was next to the bin. I still love that on his desk. Yeah,
we had these filing systems when I used to be in the Air Force years ago, and we used to have this thing called File 13, and the File 13 was literally the bin. And so you go up to someone and say, put that in File 13, and especially if you get a newbie, where's File? And they'd be looking around through these massive filing compactuses and trying to find File 13, and then they come back and say, look, I can't find File 13 anyway. So where is it? You go, it's right there, and you point to the trash can.
In the 80s, there was a local news station that had a funny bit called the circular file. And it was at the end of the news. It was like throwaway news that was just like, silly, funny, or weird, or whatever. But circular file because the trash is circular, right? So
skateboarding budgies and that sort of thing.
Got a couple of questions in chat. KV5 has asked, what mixer is this all going through? It's actually, a couple of mixers, really. So the main audio interface is the RME Digiface. And so basically, when you've got an RME Digiface, your mixer is basically the interface, which is Total Mix there. And you really don't need to touch this at all because it's all digital, right? So there's my mixer. If you want to know what my mixer is, that's my mixer. But do I touch it? No, because everything's digital and you can do all your mixing inside your DAW, like I think Temporo sort of said it as well. But in Eurorack land, I do have a mixer. And you guys would have seen me. There's a couple here. The what do you call them? Why is that not moving properly?
Submixers.
They're like submixers, but in Eurorack you need to bring your audio into something. Yeah, these things here.
Summing mixers. Matrix mixer.
These are the feedback modules, and there's a couple of different ones. I've got the Mix BX and the Mix CR, and they're 6-channel mixers. The reason why I like them, I'll need to get my thing working better. The reason why I like them is because they enable you to kind of send and receive. It's all analog, right? So none of this is digital. But let's go up to this one here. There's the Mix BX. So there's a good view of it actually. So you can see it's 6 channels, but also you've got send and receives here. And the sending and receiving is going into the C legs and the clouds. So they're basically your aux sends, right? So that first lane channel there is all that I've got connected at the moment, in particular with this one. And that's, you can see with the aux, the 2 auxes, one's completely turned off and one's kind of, sitting at around about 2 o'clock. That was the C legs. That was the delay that you could hear on that. And the cool thing about that is you can, it's kind of like a wet dry mix, right? And I know that some of these modules, they have the wet dry mix built into them. So C-Legs is not, it also does a wet dry mix there, but you get kind of nice different sort of wet dry mix effects with that, just playing around with your little submixes. I absolutely love that module, by the way. There's two
best modules of last year, the C-Legs. There's
2 effects modules that I will never ever part with, and one of them is Magneto by Strymon. I absolutely love it because a really good tape. These probably compete with each other, to be fair. They both do the same thing, but they both do different things, and that's the different things which make them what I love. So I feel like the C-Legs is not the best tape delay emulator. It does have a tape emulator in it, but it doesn't really give you that true tape head control like you do with the Magneto. And but the C-Leg also does like a really, really nice time division, feedback, stereo width delay that you can muck around with noise and color and like really sort of grunge it up if you want to overdrive it and stuff like that. And that's something that no other module does in a delay sort of world. So that's why I like those. But in this particular case, it was really just, as long as it's clocked, you can see the clocks dancing away there in the back. Why does it do that? I don't want you to move when I click on that. You bastard.
Ghost in the machine.
Can I show you mine then, Ranz?
Show me yours.
That I'm using, as it were. You show me yours, so I'll show you mine.
Show me your bits.
This here. Oops.
Tesseract,
the Tesseract system. Very similar to what you're talking about, but that's 12 inputs. There's 4 mono and 4 stereo. But its days are numbered because there is pretty bad crosstalk.
Oh no.
Which is noticeable. I mean, even when things are muted, you can hear them feeding through. One of the things I really do love about it, you see the switches at the top of the rows.
Yeah.
They are switchable pre-post sends for the auxiliary sends. There are 2 auxiliary sends, like on your mixers. One's going to reverb, one's going to delay, and I love sending it to pre-fade send and keeping the actual direct volume down and just hearing the effect. It's really quite lovely. I do not know whether I'm going to be able to achieve that same effect using the Bitbox blue box up there. I don't know whether that'll do it.
That's a digital mixer, so surely it would have just an algorithm, right?
It's possible. I've not got into it yet. I mean, it's to be discovered. Well, yeah, that's a cracking effect if you're wanting to just work on some ambience. Just send a filtered oscillator just droning through, but have it coming through the reverbs and delays on pre-fade send. It's just a cracking sound.
Yeah,
you do all sorts of stuff with it.
The other one that probably, I mean, Brooksy, I think if you and I both had the money, we would have probably got this, and that's the Hex Mix from Bafaco. Like that originally, that has everything that you've got, everything that I've got, and more. Yeah, and definitely.
It's big, it's expensive,
and I added 4 channels to it very easily too. So
I can show you that if you want.
Yeah, I know you.
Are you using that as well? Are you, Steve? Right.
Go on, show
yeah, I've got the Hex Mix and the Expander with the ST module, and I've got a couple of dope for mini stereo mixers and the performance mixer from WMD.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big.
We're looking at
a big chunk of change.
It's there. And I've got the mutes module with it as well, so you can.
Did you buy that as a pre-made or a kit?
What the Hex Expander one? As a kit.
Yeah. So that would have taken you ages to put together.
Wow. Yeah, it was 36 hours to put together that.
That's a lot of work.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was quite OCD with it. I was like cleaning all the resistor legs and everything, so it took hours.
I bought my Muse from a guy in France. It's all perfect condition.
Cleaning the resistor legs. Wow.
Yeah. Before I solddered them in.
Yeah, you don't want the sticky stuff on the legs because then it gets in the circuit board and can interfere with the solder.
I use full fat solder as well, not that fake stuff with copper in it.
Oh yeah, you got to have the proper.
Yeah.
Did you flux everything up first with a brush?
Well, I cleaned all the circuit boards because I didn't want any sort of residue on there, and I had a separate flux, but the multi-core solder I had resin flux in there as well. But
Tempera, you're asking me what my clock was. My master clock was Ableton. See, I talk about this too much. You guys have probably heard this a million times, but I use Ableton to control the FH2 Factum from Expert Sleepers. Then that goes out of that into Pamela's new workout, and that controls my whole modular system, and it is stable as a rock. The clock is stable as a rock because the Expert Sleepers MIDI module is really, really good quality. It's probably the best MIDI to CV module on the market, in my opinion. Pamela's workout is the best stable clock, I think, for Eurorack, and Ableton's really, really good because you've got Ableton Link. So all of my other gear, which is like the Force and the MPCs and that, they all run on Ableton Link. So I don't even have to connect them up. They literally would just talk the same clock. So easy. All right, we're going to have to wrap the show up because I just realised it's pumpkin time, and someone will knock on the door soon.
Ooh. Right.
Can you believe it's been over 3 hours? That goes quick, doesn't it?
It does. When you're enjoying yourself, time flies.
3 hours and 9 minutes we've been streaming for.
That's one drum machine programming session for me. I'll just do 10 minutes of
Chris,
sound design before I go to bed.
That's why I just turned the TR8 on and then just let it play. It's literally 3 seconds of drum programming.
You've probably got the right attitude there, Rance.
Just drown out the drums with synthesizers. You don't have to worry about drums then. All right. Okay, guys.
It's actually easy to program. So
we can continue the conversation next week, eh? What do you think?
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having us back on, Rant.
Mate, we missed you, so don't be a stranger.
Yeah, good to have you back.
It's good to see you.
It's just been so busy, with music. Am I muted?
No.
Am I?
I can hear you.
No, I was muted.
Oh, sorry, Darren. It's just been very, very busy with music. And I mean, when we spoke about me sort of taking a bit of a backseat, that was part of the reason. I knew there was just going to be so much on, and it's going to be taking up my time. Now, actually, Grace is going to be busy for the whole of January now, really, and into February. So we'll be doing a lot less. But I've got loads of stuff to learn over here. So I may well be jumping in again on Saturdays. Chris, you can have the seat back. It's fine. I'll come in through StreamYard. But just to talk about how I'm getting on with things and solving my power problems.
Yeah, plenty of room. Don't worry about that.
I've gotten a bit too used to my beauty lighting. As opposed to the harsh StreamYard lighting.
The crunchiness of StreamYard.
The crunchy HDMI.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to have to end it because I will get in trouble. But yeah, thanks everyone. Enjoy your week. Don't forget to press record.
Bye, everybody.
Really
good
important.
to see everybody.
See you all soon.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, chatties.
Take care, everybody. Take care.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.